Next on America's Day at the Races, the connections of Safta through her graded stakes company as a maiden at just her second career start. Will her talent shine through in today's 7th at Belmont? In the 8th, Smokin' Platinum is reunited with a jockey who guided him to his maiden win. Will one of the strongest finishers in the game be the difference in his 4-year-old debut? And we'll have live coverage all afternoon long from historic Churchill Downs. Breeders' Cup Sprint winning trainer Frank Lyons will be on site from Louisville. We'll check in with him in just a little bit. Our show brought to you each and every day in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. And by Claiborne Farm, 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Kicking off another week of racing here in Belmont, New York, the third and final leg of the Triple Crown. Coming up just about 9 days from now. There was the first ever Triple Crown winner, Sir Barton, back in 1919. Greg Wolf alongside New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. You would not have had Sir Barton that day. I don't think you liked him.
No, I bet against him, actually. I ran second and third for big money. I don't even want to discuss it. I'm bitter about it.
Yeah, it takes you a long time to get over those losses, as it does all of us. We remember the losses more than the wins. We have some good races coming up today, and we're going to kick things off with 2-year-olds in action here in New York.
I love the 2-year-olds. I love that part, obviously. We run some in the spring, summer at Belmont, a lot more in Saratoga. But the 2-year-olds are the future of the game, and I really love the 2-year-old races. You just never know when you're going to see a future star.
Well, this fourth race, we're going to go 5 furlongs with some new faces. New York bred maiden special weight. Wesley Ward, he's always dangerous, sending out 2-year-old first-time starters. He has the 2. Love Me Tomorrow. That's not the favorite, though, right now. It's My Italian Rabbi for Jeremiah Engelhardt.
Well, I mean, if you've got an Italian rabbi, that's a story unto itself. 150,000 for this daughter of Competitive Edge. Yeah, the daughter of Competitive Edge. Well, it's interesting, of course, the owner of this horse also brought us Avinu Malkenu. So there's often a sort of connection there, and this one is taking the early money.
Here's a look at Princess Corey, another firster, this one for Jason Service. We're going to check in with Maggie Wolfendale, who will give us her thoughts on this field for the 4th.
And Greg, I hate it when this happens. I look at these horses physically, and I pick out which one I like the best from a physical perspective, and then I look up at the board, and it's the favorite. That's exactly what's happened with number 4 in here, My Italian Rabbi, one of 2 Jeremiah Engelhardt trained horses. And this one, she's big, beautiful, elegant, athletic. She's been extremely professional, just has that look about her where she just is kind of looking right through you, eyes on the prize kind of thing. And she's very fit. Her and the Jason Service trainee, who I'll get to in a second, definitely look the most fit of any of the horses in here. But I do really like what I'm seeing from My Italian Rabbi. And anyway, she is the one, at least sold at public auction, that went for the most money. Now, Wesley Ward, always formidable in these spots with number 2, Love Me Tomorrow. This one, very professional, beautifully balanced. She just didn't look as fit. Now, that is somewhat typical with these Wesley horses, and it doesn't necessarily show up on the racetrack. They seem to run through. She obviously is wearing blinkers, as they always do. She does have a quick appearance, but she wasn't acting that sharply in the paddock nor out on the racetrack. So we'll see if she does have that customary Wesley Ward early gate speed, though. My prediction is she probably will, as she is sitting at 2-1. Now moving on to number 9, Princess Corey. That is that Jason Service trainee. She is very fit as well. Wondering with her because I know Andy has a stat with Jason Service, is first time going to be the time. She was slightly green in the paddock when they were trying to put the tongue tie on her. They eventually got it on. She was rearing up a bit. But otherwise, she's been very professional. As you see, she's warming up without a pony. She's not made a wrong move thus far beneath Irad Ortiz. Like I said, she lacks a little bit of push, a little bit of muscle mass behind the saddle. So wondering how quick she will be from that outside post. But then again, having an outside post sometimes last one in, first one out. We'll see. I have my doubts, but she could run well. Now, a big price in here is number 7, Launch Squeeze. Now, she sold, the only horse that sold in this race at a 2-year-old sale, only for the modest 10 grand purchase price. A daughter of Zevo. First time we're seeing Zevo show up on the racetrack. She worked 10-2. Wasn't that impressive, to be honest. Not bad looking, though, out on the racetrack, or in the paddock, I should say. A well-muscled, still lacks that overall fitness look to her, just a little soft around the edges. But, hey, this guy is known to get his Alejandro Memo, to get his 2-year-olds ready. Greg, we'll see what she does. She sits at 22-1.
Yeah, big number for Launch Sequence. Look, we know this is Wesley Ward's game. if we're going to see quickness, Maggie was speculating on that. Look at that gate drill at Keeneland, 34-4.
I don't know. I feel like every time I see a Wesley Ward 2-year-old, he has at least 134 work, right? I mean, listen, one of the reasons Wesley Ward is so good with them is he knows how to get them ready. And it's important to note these 5-furlong dirt races at Belmont start right on the turn. So a lot of times it's tough to watch the start because there's a weird angle looking at it. But it will sometimes give an advantage to the inside horses because you could get caught wide very, very easily. Love Me Tomorrow, they usually seem to have speed for Wesley Ward. He's dangerous. But so is My Italian Rabbi. These are the two taking the most play. And Wesley's a little chilly. The late money coming in for Princess Corey as well, Greg.
There's your favorite. So that is My Italian Rabbi. Yeah, this one went for $160,000 at the Saratoga August sale of 2018.
And Competitive Edge, some people remember, was a very promising Todd Pletcher horse who did run some fast races. Believe this is his first crop. And $160,000 for a freshman sire from a dam who's produced 3 horses that have done no running. They must have liked this horse physically. And Jeremiah Englehart has gotten extremely good with his 2-year-old firsters.
So this, the starting point for just about everybody in this race. There actually is a runner who has already been on the racetrack. That was the 6th, the only horse with any experience in this group. Didn't show a whole lot that day at 47-1. That was an open company.
But it gets blinkers on at Lasix, and these horses will improve tremendously. I'm sure this horse will run better. The question is, will he run well enough? You know, Maggie alluded to a stat with Princess Corey, and the statistic is the 9 Princess Corey for Trainer Jay's service is he's just 2 for 15 with 2-year-old first-time starters at NYRA and dirt sprints. And that says 2 things to me. He's run 3 horses a year for 5 years. So he doesn't even run that many here. And for a trainer who we see routinely winning at 30-40%, that's a very weak number for him. It's also a very small sample. He wins one here, he's up to 19%, he wins 3 in a row, and suddenly he's up to his numbers. But he's not a trainer that runs that many of them, and often they do need a start. And I think when they win, they take more money than 5-2, Greg.
And, you know, for a lot of these horses, too, this is really just an education more than all out to win this race. It's a starting point.
Right. I mean, everybody here wants to be in the winner's circle. Nobody here wants to lose this race. But as you're saying, they want to win bigger races down the road, and this is a start for them. The 7 launch sequence, that trainer popped with 2 big prices over the last year in New York with first-time starters. So mention that one, and that is, of course, the first Zevo to hit the racetrack.
32-1 on the 7. Yeah, the daughter of Zevo. Luis Reyes will be aboard there. Favorite, though, is the 4, My Italian Rabbi. Keep your eyes on post 2 as well. Wesley Ward, this is what he does best. First-time starter, Love Me Tomorrow. Should be quick early. Race 4 from Belmont Park. We're just about set. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown for the call, Larry Collmus.
And the last ones to come up to line, Dot Dot Dash, taking her position in the starting gate. And she'll be followed by Launch Sequence and Princess Corey, who is right now the 2-1 co-second choice, along with Love Me Tomorrow behind My Italian Rabbi, who's at 9-5. Here comes Launch Sequence, coming up to the starting gate. And moving into line. And the last one to come up, again, here's Princess Corey and Gerard Ortiz Jr. going in, and they're all in line. They're off. And it's Love Me Tomorrow with the best beginning. Princess Corey on the outside. My Italian Rabbi, who started near the back of the field, rushes up between those 2, and now these 3 are across the track. Dot Dot Dash is 3 lengths off of them, clear of Rewarded in 5th. The trailers are Toteboard and Launch Sequence. Tightly packed, they move around the far turn. Love Me Tomorrow, My Italian Rabbi, Princess Corey to the outside. The opening quarter mile was 22.2 seconds. Dot Dot Dash is 4th and 4 from the front, and then comes Rewarded. They make their way to the top of the stretch. My Italian Rabbi on the outside. Love Me Tomorrow down at the rail. These 2 turn for home side by side and stride for stride. Princess Corey is 3rd, trying to come and get them as they arrive at the 8th pole. My Italian Rabbi is the one to catch here. On the outside, Princess Corey. Love Me Tomorrow's down toward the rail. It is My Italian Rabbi on top close to home. My Italian Rabbi is going to do it by 2.5 lengths on the wire. Princess Corey was second, Love Me Tomorrow was third, and Rewarded was fourth.
My Italian Rabbi with the win. Jeremiah Engelhardt. Luis Saez actually went off slightly the second choice right before post.
Yeah, and I think ran very well. If we could show the start again from the pan angle, you'll see that Love Me Tomorrow broke extremely sharply with Dylan Davis for Wesley Ward, whereas My Italian Rabbi a little bit on his heels. Not that badly, but it took him a while to rush up. He went up between horses and dueled hard, and this was a very promising debut for this daughter of Competitive Edge. I don't know if it's her first winner, but I think it's the first winner in New York.
4-9-2-3, and that's a good effort from the 9. That's a real disadvantage the way they run these races here at 5 furlongs being outside.
And you wonder, Greg, if, you know, it almost like Irad Ortiz had to hustle more into the race. Otherwise, he risks getting really caught out wide and sort of taken out of the race. And maybe it'll be a horse that, with experience and a little more run to the turn, he doesn't have to be as aggressive early.
Here's the start one more time. You see how quick Wesley Ward's runner is.
Yeah, I mean, she got up very quickly. The 9 broke well, but My Italian Rabbi had to rush up between horses, and a good job by Luis Saez. And once he got her into stride, she really kept up and cruised pretty well. This is a nice effort. The track, the final time of 59.89, that's not bad on this track. This track is not playing quickly today.
And you see the 9 doing a good job there. Irad Ortiz Jr. seeing if there's any traffic behind him, clearing over, and getting into that 3-path early on.
Yeah, Jeremiah Engelhardt has done a great job of building up his program in New York. You know, obviously very good at Finger Lakes, doing well in New York, but he has really had a sensational success over the last 3 years especially. And one reason is he's gotten very good with his first-time starters.
Now, when you beat a speedy first-timer, 2-year-old from the Wesley Ward barn, you are doing something right, because that is what that barn excels at. And broke cleanly, but today, it's My Italian Rabbi. First time out who gets the win does so at 2-1. Price is coming up in a moment. Track conditions, they are presented by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray, Belmont Park, Piranha on Pescon. Main track is good, and turf condition listed as yielding and good. We have 2 different turf courses here, so we'll let you know as we get you on each different turf course for this afternoon. We also have the entire card from Churchill Downs on this Twilight Thursday. Good and off the turf at Churchill Downs.
And Frank Lyons.
Yes, he is joining us momentarily. Heading to the winner's circle here in New York, My Italian Rabbi, but we are going to head to Louisville and check in with Frank Lyons, who joins us from the Twin Spires. Frank.
Time to launch a new racing week under the Twin Spires of Churchill Downs, home of the Kentucky Derby.
We'll get to Frank in a little bit. We're having some technical difficulties. We apologize for that, so we'll check back in with Frank in a moment. In the meantime, My Italian Rabbi, first time out into the winner's circle. Luis Saez with the win. Again, Jeremiah Engelhardt in Gold Square owns this 2-year-old filly by Competitive Edge out of a Golden Missile mare.
And, you know, we have some stakes obviously coming up. We had New York bred stakes we used to run late in this meet, which now moved to Saratoga. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this horse running early in Saratoga in those races for New York breds.
So 4-9-2 finish. Kicking things off in this 4th race. This started the pick 6 sequence this afternoon, so you know what that means. Ooh, we got the NYRA Bets late pick 5 on the way, and that begins in the very next race. We'll set the stage for that in a moment. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, Hall of Fame trainer Belmont. Well, he got a Derby win with a horse who got moved up via DQ, but this is the horse a lot of people think is the horse to beat going in to the Belmont Stakes. Tacitus, built for the test of the champion. We'll talk about it next.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and NYRA Bets takes you there.
Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With NYRA Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the NYRA Bets app or visit NYRABets.com. Sign up at NYRABets.com for a new member bonus.
Warfront, a leading sire on all surfaces and all fronts. His recent Grade 1 winners include Omaha Beach, Homesman, Fog of War, Lancaster Bomber, and European champion U.S. Navy Flag, plus graded stakes winner War of Will, and these recent group and graded winners. Sire of the highest price yearling sold in North America in 2018. This son of Danzig continues to dominate both on the track and in the sales ring. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
We're back on America's Day at the Races. It is brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well.
I love those pictures.
They are great. We're going to head to Churchill Downs out in Louisville, Kentucky, and check in with Frank Lyons for the first time this afternoon. Frank, how you doing?
Thank you, Greg, and welcome to Churchill Downs, home of the Kentucky Derby. It's a beautiful evening here, but it wasn't a beautiful day today. As you can see by the track, there's a lot of moisture in the track, and we have the races off the grass, so there's a lot of scratches on tonight's card at Churchill. I talked to the trackman Jamie Richardson, who assured me that after the second race, he said this track will be fast. As you can see, there's moisture right here and down here on the inside where they're racing, and they've been working the track. It's nicely harrowed, so I expect a fast track. It's labeled good right now, but races off the grass, expect a good track.
Frank, thank you. We'll be checking in with him throughout this show this afternoon. So good on the main track because after that first race coming up in a little bit, entry-level allowance in their opener and a mile and a 16th in that first race.
Yeah, I thought the 2-horse, the probable speed, was the horse to beat in that race, though you do have a new gelding, the number 3 Sergeant Drive, who trained by Shug McGay, some may be familiar with, ran around here quite a bit. New gelding, and they felt like the main 2 players to me, Greg.
I thought Verve's Humor coming in from Oakland was a player as well.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Verve's Humor in very good form, gets a nice rider change to Tyler Gaffleone, and can handle some moisture in the track because ran very well 2 back to break his maiden on a sloppy seal track.
All right, much more on Churchill as we get closer to that first race. Coming up, of course, June the 8th. Ooh, it is going down right here in Elmont, New York. Third and final leg of the Triple Crown. And the test of the champion, the Belmont Stakes. Preakness winner War of Will is back for more. This is the field he will line up against, including the horse that everyone seems to think is the perfect horse for this kind of race, and Tacitus for Belmont.
I think he's the perfect horse for this race. I also think there's a very good chance by the time the year is over that he'll prove to be the best 3-year-old colt in the country. Now, there are a lot of good horses out there, including War of Will, who gets more and more respect every time he runs. But Tacitus, there have been, 3 Tappets to win the Belmont Stakes in recent years? I think we saw 3 in a row, right? And he had a troubled trip in the Kentucky Derby, ran very well to finish place 3rd, finish 4th, place 3rd. I don't know what there is to like about this horse.
I should say 3 and 4 years before last year,
right,
of course. But yeah, quite a run for Tappet, so we know Love can get horses to get this 1.5-mile distance. But he got banged up and still was able to win that Wood Memorial. He actually ran. What do you think of his Derby run?
I thought it was very good. I don't think this horse has ever run a bad race, to be honest with you. And I like the fact that you mentioned the Wood got pushed around, knocked around. Yeah. He just runs through trouble. And what's interesting about him, a lot of the Tappets have been known to be a little hot-headed and tough to handle. He seems to be able to handle any situation he's in. I'm a huge fan of Tacitus.
Well, Todd Pletcher, he's going to send out a pair of runners in the race, including Spinoff. And if you can look past the Kentucky Derby, he's done very little wrong.
No, I agree. I mean, I don't think he's totally impossible, and I don't think that Intrepid Heart, first of all, you'd be foolish to just disregard Todd Pletcher in the Belmont Stakes. His record with short prices and big prices alike has been very good. I'm a fan. I prefer Intrepid Heart of the 2, but I wouldn't take any horse Todd runs in the Belmont lightly.
As you shouldn't. He's done some damage in this race. Intrepid Heart, his other runner, of course, who is very lightly raced. He comes off a distant 3rd to Global Campaign in the Peter Pan. Before that, he was undefeated, but we'll see another son of Tappet.
And to be fair, he stumbled pretty badly at the start of the Peter Pan. Now, I haven't heard Todd in any way looking to use that as an excuse, but I don't think you can say it wasn't somewhat of an excuse. I mean, horses can stumble at the start and just sort of get a little bit jarred and lose their interest. He did not run particularly well, but he didn't run terribly.
Do you want a horse that's a little more seasoned, though, than he is in this kind of race?
I think that's a fair argument. At the end of the day, though, how seasoned are any of them? I mean, even Tassis only has 5 starts, but I don't disagree. I think Intrepid Art's a good horse. It's a big leap for him, but you can make an excuse for his last race.
Well, here's a look at the lineup. It is sensational on Belmont Stakes Day, not just the third and final leg of the Triple Crown. One of the most star-studded Met Mile renditions we'll have seen in a long time with who is lining up for that $1.2 million race.
It's so rare that you're salivating about potential horses running in a race months before that it comes to fruition, but this Met Mile is really coming together as the race of the year.
Matoli, maybe the best sprinter in the country. Firenze Fire, who just becomes a super horse when he gets to Belmont, especially around a one-turn mile.
And McKenzie for Bob Baffert, coming in off that huge effort, cutting back to one turn. And
Thunder Snow.
Yeah, I mean, Thunder Snow, a 2-time Dubai World Cup winner. We're not even mentioning Cole Front, who's won 3 straight, including the Godolphin Mile. He's the 5th choice. That's how good the field is. And it brings together the routers and the sprinters.
Put your handicapping skills to the test in the biggest New York handicapping contest of the year, that Belmont Stakes Challenge. All 15 stakes races at Belmont included in the 2-day contest, June 7th and 8th. $60,000 guaranteed first place prize. It's a $10,000 buy-in. NYRA bets, late pick 5. Here's Go Poke the Bear. Maybe a single for some in the sequence. We'll talk more about that when we come back.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
There's one thing that everybody wants in our game is they want speed. Daredevil has the speed. You know that he ran a 107 buyer when he won the Champagne Stakes, the Grade 1. That's faster than Uncle Mo, Scat Daddy, and Union Rags.
As a 2-year-old, he ran a 96 buyer when he broke his maiden, a 107 buyer in the Champagne, beating a nice horse in Upstart. He is by more than ready, another feather in his cap. I can't wait to see these horses run it too.
An undefeated graded stakes winner on the track, Algorithms was the nation's #1 sire of 2-year-olds in 2017 by percentage of winners. His top runners include Rich Mommy, winner of the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl, multiple stakes winner and graded stakes performer Recruiting Ready, stakes winner and graded stakes performer Vanish, and recent stakes winners Taylor's Spirit and Tracy Racing. In the ring, his 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $300,000. Algorithms, standing at Claiborne Farm.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearly manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So we have a colt out of Queen of America. He's really nice, looks just like his dad. Very pleased with how he's coming along. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races on this twilight evening here at beautiful Belmont Park. As always, we're brought to you by Runhappy. Well, horses in the paddock for 2 days. 5th race, claiming 50 for the 3-year-olds on the turf course, which is the inner turf course labeled as good, as we'll check in with number 7, C Now, who is coming back off a layoff for trainer Todd Pletcher. And he does drop out of 2-year-old stakes last seen in the Armed Forces, where he was disappointing that day, but they put him away in late September, so you'd have to think that maybe he emerged out of that race with an issue. He comes back and he has done well from 2 to 3. He's filled out. He looks 10 times stronger than he ever did last year when I got to see him up at Saratoga, and really well conditioned, superb coat on him, very hydrated, dappled head to toe. I like this horse coming back here today. I think he could be very effective, as he is sitting at a decent price on the board as of now, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. Well, I got 3 horses who ran 1, 2, 3 coming out of the same race. But let's check in over at Churchill real quick for their first race. Mile and a 16th in this first allowance condition. And it's Verve's Humor coming in from Oaklawn for Dallas Stewart. Favored right now with Tyler Gaffleone.
I don't get this at all. I don't understand why Color Guard isn't a much shorter price. He ran well last time. He looks to be the inside speed here. I think Verve's Humor, who can win, is way overbet.
For more on this opening race coming up, let's go back to Frank Lyons.
Hi, guys. Well,
Bobby,
I'm not really sure if you even mentioned the winner right there, because the best-looking horse in the paddock, not by much, they all look pretty much similar, as do they on the form. But the best-looking horse to me is the 8-horse, Anseek. This horse ran behind Limonite last time out. That horse was on the Derby Trail for a long time for Steve Asmussen. He was a very nice horse. Second place horse was Get the Prize. That's Al Stall's Candy Ride. He cost $430,000. He's in on Saturday in a good race. And I think that Anseek comes out of the best race. But Verve's Tail is also looks very good. And I can't say anything bad about any horse in here, but I'd have to put the hex on 8, Anseek.
All right, Frank likes the outside runner. Is taking plenty of attention here. One of the key players, Anseek, and yeah, has faced some of the toughest, if not the toughest, company of anybody in this field.
Has. It didn't run badly last time in a reasonable race. It is a 3-year-old running against older horses. I prefer others. I'm betting the 2 to win and boxing 2-3-7. I think there's some overlays in there. But I guess this race, looking at the board, pretty much wide open to everybody.
A good betting race to kick things off. Pick 5. We'll start here in this early race on the sequence. But, yeah, 5 to 2, Verve's Humor. I liked Verve's Humor at 5 to 2. I don't love 5 to 2, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think that's a particularly special price, and I wonder if people are getting hung up on the fact that the horse, handled a wet track 2 back. A lot of difference between a good harrowed track and a sloppy sealed track. He's okay, but I think he's just one of the players here. His last race, his best effort yet.
And he looks like he's going to come from pretty far out of it, too. Is there even going to be the pace to set it up for him here? The outside 2, I guess, might go, right?
I think that the 8 is probably going to be stalking the number 2 here, maybe the 5 Mississippi somewhat in there. But I think Color Guard's going to be the one who's going to be leading the way. And, geez, I don't know. I think he's a very generous price right now at 4 to 1. It's come down a point since we started, but still, 4 to 1. His last race was pretty good.
There's a look at Verve's Humor. So he ships in from Oakland. He actually debuted at Belmont. He did not show anything against Avery Island, who would go on to win a race on the Triple Crown Trail.
Yeah, that was a key race. Took a while for him to prove to be a player in that race. Yeah, he was Barclay Tag here. And, of course, Charles Fipke, who owned and bred him. People remember him with Forever Unbridled, who did so well. And Unbridled Forever, as a matter of fact. He had both of them. And obviously a big-time player in this game. But Dallas Stewart trains a lot of his horses.
So Verve's Humor remains your favorite here at 5 to 2, but we got a very closely bunched board. With the exception of the 5, everybody here between 5 to 2 and 4 to 1 in this group. Getting set for the opener coming up here from Churchill Downs. Good to have you with us. Greg Wolf, Andy Serling, Maggie Wolfendale. We have Frank Lyons out at Churchill Downs, won the Breeders' Cup Sprint back in 1995 with the Philly Desert Stormer. He is live on site, and this first race coming up at Churchill on a good main track. They're off the turf today, and as you can tell by the odds, this is a wide open betting group, and you actually are against the favorite here.
Yeah, I'm not. Listen, I'm not going to tell you this. I can't stand this horse, right? I can't win, and it's certainly not exactly my home track. I just think it's a wide open race. I really prefer the number 2 Color Guard, who I think is a very generous price, and look to wire this field.
I won a mile last time out, wound up second. That was the first taste of racing at Churchill for the son of Arch. As they load up here for the first on the card, we're going to get you back here to Belmont momentarily as well. We're getting set to kick off the NYRA Bets late pick 5. We'll have the post parade from the 5th race. As soon as we wrap up this opener here from Churchill Downs, we send it upstairs to Travis Stone for the call out in Louisville.
Waiting on Beantown Boys and Anseek. They're in the gate. And they're off. Mississippi with a good start at mid-pack. Color Guard for the inside post is up close. And Seek from the far outside. Beantown Boys backs out of there to settle in fourth into the clubhouse turn. So it is Color Guard down inside with the narrow lead. Mississippi prompting on the outside in second. They go clear by 2.5 to Anseek, who waits back in third. Beantown Boys is fourth in the early stages. Verve's Humor 3 wide, while fifth. Sergeant Drive right there with that one at the back. 5, maybe 6 lengths from top to bottom. They're on the back stretch now, and Color Guard is the leader. The leader by half a length. The opening quarter in 24 seconds flat. Mississippi prompting on the outside in second with 5 furlongs to go as they try and back down the pace. And with that, Anseek gets closer from third. Sergeant Drive in the clear racing in fourth. Beantown Boys is covered up down inside fifth. Verve's Humor's at the back in 6 past the half-mile pole. The opening 4 furlongs and 48 seconds flat. They're on the far turn. Color Guard and Mississippi continue to knock heads up top. Anseek is third and still getting a little bit closer. Sergeant Drive is forced to go wide, 4 wide up into fourth now. Beantown Boys set to strike in behind fifth, and Verve's Humor's at the back. Anyone's race coming for the top of the stretch. Color Guard down inside with a narrow lead. Mississippi comes on once again on the outside. They're head and head 3/16 out. Anseek's been left behind. Beantown Boys down inside. Sergeant Drive and Verve's Humor. There's 1 furlong to go. Mississippi with a narrow lead. Color Guard is battling on gamely down inside. Color Guard inside. Mississippi outside. Anseek trying to re-rally late. These 3 to the wire. Color Guard digs down deep and wins. Color Guard rides the rail to victory. It's tight for a second between Anseek and Mississippi. Beantown Boys fourth.
Color Guard digs in, gets the win to kick off this Thursday card at Churchill Downs.
I think we call it a merry-go-round race, Greg.
Yeah.
There were 1, 2, 3 around the track the whole way. Color Guard stumbled a little coming out of the gate, but he quickly recovered. Corey Lannery, wire in the field, 3-1.
Back at Belmont, here's our post-parade first leg of this NYRA Bets Late Pick 5. Here's False Info with Manny Franco.
Yeah, False Info is second off the claim for Bruce Brown. He ran an improved effort after running off 2 back.
Go Poke the Bear. He's put together back-to-back wins. He had a rabbit up front helping him last time out.
I picked him on top. I never thought he'd be 7-5, but Brad Cox's numbers off the claim with turf routers are otherworldly.
7-5 favorite as he looks to make it 3 in a row. Son of Kitten's Joy. Honorable Hero. He had the lead last time out against Collins Avenue and False Info, and he gave it up late.
But what's wrong with both of his last 2 efforts? I think he was competitive in both, running against this company. He's absolutely a horse that can get a piece.
Coral Legacy is at 12-1. Christophe Clement, son of Bodemeister.
Started his career out with a solid enough effort for trainer Todd Pletcher. Has not run well in 2 subsequent and gets a new trainer in Christophe Clement.
Collins Avenue. He's in the race where he beat Honorable Hero and False Info and Thomond Park last out.
The question with him is how will he do off the claim? Claim from Michael Dubb, owner Michael Dubb. Always tough to claim from him.
Blinkers on, Thomond Park. Mike Maker off the claim.
Thomond Park, named for the rugby course in Ireland, where Greg actually made his mark in his old days as a rugby player.
And see, I'd like to make a visit actually to that park. See now, Todd Pletcher on the outside, actually making his 3-year-old debut, son of Tis Now. So here's Go Poke the Bear. Came from the clouds to win by 3 lengths against 30 claiming last time out. That was at Aqueduct.
But he got a quick pace to do it, and there was a runoff. That was the other half of the entry. And I think that was, in fact, False Info, who now is in Bruce Brown's barn. He kind of set the table a little bit, and this horse came running. I actually picked him second and scratched into him when the 8 Fayette Warrior came out. He could be pace dependent in this race. That's what concerns me. But, man, does his trainer, Brad Cox, he is 17 for 37 the last 5 years off the claim with turf routers, a 319 ROI, 4 for 9 at NYRA with a 511 ROI, so he can do it everywhere, Greg.
So a lot of times people might say, oh, taking a horse off of Todd Pletcher, how are you going to improve that horse? Here, that's not the concern.
Yeah, it isn't, but, you know, I'm glad you asked it because here's another stat for you. Claim from Todd Pletcher on the turf. 9 for 86 over the last 5 years, 10%, $1.04 ROI. So does the good number for Brad Cox mitigate the bad numbers claiming from Todd? It's always an interesting question.
For more on this 5th race here, let's go downstairs to Maggie.
And guys, yes, I'm always leery of horses claimed away from Todd Pletcher, but as you can kind of see here, there's not much difference in the 30,000 claimer up to the 50. These are all straight 3-year-olds. They're all pretty evenly matched as they have taken turns running against and beating each other. I'll check in with your current favorite. That is number 2, Go Poke the Bear. As I was saying, is looking for his 3rd win in a row. Now, physically, he's not a horse I'm going to be attracted to. I have no other better way of describing him as anything but kind of dumpy. He's just a little bit heavy, just a shorter barreled horse that he's just really not appealing to the eye, I'll be honest. But when he gets out on track, the way he moves, you see why there is some ability there. He just covers the ground. He has this big, floating, massive stride to him, and I respect the work that Brad Cox does. So there's no denying that he is the horse to beat as well on paper as out on the track. Now, I want to check in with number 6. That is Thomond Park for Mike Maker. Thomond Park last time is coming off a 3-month layoff, and while that's not that long of a layoff, he still looked as though a race would be beneficial, and now it has put him where he physically needs to be, in my opinion. He's just stronger. Everything's rounded out. His coat looks resplendent. I like the way that Thomond Park is showing up for Mike Maker, and you always have to pay attention when Mike Maker dips in to claim a turf horse, guys.
I'm glad Maggie brought up this horse because, you know, you look at that last start, and we're going to show it to you. He's adding blinkers today. He just didn't show a lot to me in that performance, and maybe he wasn't comfortable inside. When he finally got running room, though, he didn't show a lot of kick.
He was terrible. He did no running at all. He had a perfect trip. I was shocked he was favored over the winner in that race, who comes back, Collins Avenue. In fact, the first 4, I think, out of that race are running back. And even like here, he angles out. Okay, another horse comes in his flank, but where is his run? He's had such a good trip. The only thing to like about him is that he was claimed by Mike Maker, who's very good off the claim with turf horses, but he claimed him from Chris Clement. So it's not like he's getting him from some guy that doesn't know how to win.
I mean, you look at his races at Tampa, he's better than what he showed in that race, right?
Is he? Well, his speed figures say he's not. I mean, his speed figures are a little bit slower, his buyer figures, for what they're worth in turf races. They weren't better, so maybe people thought he was better than he was. I don't know. You know, the one thing I like about him a little bit is I think he can be forwardly placed. And with the scratch of the number 8 Fayette Warrior, false info with Manny Franco projects to be the controlling speed. I have to think Maker and Jose Ortiz plan to put him in the game and maybe be sitting second with it, and that could help him in here.
Well, you're going off buyers, off other numbers. He's run a lot better.
He has, okay.
Previous starts.
Which explains why he was a short price last time. Because based on the buyer figs, he never should have been favored, and clearly the sheet numbers had him better.
Yeah, I wonder, too, he was inside for most of that race. If he just wasn't comfortable being boxed in there for a little bit for most of that race.
Well, that's a great point, and a lot of times in racing, horses just won't run inside of horses. They'll spin their wheels. Here's the thing, though, Greg. When he angled outside, shouldn't he have picked it up after that?
Yeah, no question. And we'll see. Maybe the blinkers on gives him a little more zip. He's 6-1 right now, as you saw our analyst selections right there, but 7-5 on Go Poke the Bear, who is going to want to see a little bit of pace up front to be able to try and run it down. And, you know, that last race when he won by 3 lengths, I mentioned this in the post-parade, he had a rabbit as part of an entry helping him set it up.
Yeah, I don't know if they intended it that way. I think the horse just run and a half, but he certainly acted as a rabbit.
Yeah, he opened up by, what, 6-7 lengths?
I mean, he was legitimately a runoff, and interestingly enough, he settled much more easily last time. Now, you don't want him to run off here, but you certainly want to see him use his speed, right?
Well, maybe the intriguing runner there, that 7 horse for Pletcher. He's making his 3-year-old debut. They put him in the with anticipation in just the second turf start of his career. He's had a maiden win and then back-to-back stakes, got a little break, and now he gets a lot easier company coming back.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot going on in here, to be honest with you, is layoffs. And the other thing I'll tell you about this race, you've got Brad Cox, you've got Christophe Clement, you've got Todd Pletcher, you got Mike Maker. It may be a claiming race, but you've got some of the top trainers in the game in here.
And, you know, with Collins Avenue, the 5, too, off the claim as well. Moving to the James Ferraro barn, we are set.
Maybe we're just making it too hard.
Maybe. I don't know, it's a difficult race.
Yep.
First leg of this NYRA Bets Late Pick 5. You're watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2, MSG Plus, and other regional networks across the country. Let's go upstairs to the voice of the Triple Crown for the call. Here's Larry Collmus.
Here's Sino and Luis Saez coming up to the outside stall here as Go Poke the Bear is 3-2 on the tote board now. Sino getting some encouragement from the starting gate crew to step forward and goes in. They're all in line. they're off. Tom Park walked out of the gate, very slow to begin, and it is Honorable Hero and Senau to the front on that first turn. Opening up now, and Senau pulls away by 3. Honorable Hero running in second position, False Info, reined back off the pace, sitting third on the inside of Coral Legacy, and they're 4 from the front. Break of another 3 lengths more back to Go Poke the Bear. Collins Ave on the outside, and Tom Park is last. So onto the backstretch, 24.88 was that first quarter mile, set by Luis Saez and Senau, who lead them a length and a half. Honorable Hero races alongside of False Info and Coral Legacy. These 3 bunched together. Go Poke the Bear is in 5th, and 5 from the front, and right next to Collins Ave on the outside. Tom Park and Jose Ortiz taking their time at the rear of the field after that slow start. They're 8 lengths behind. So they continue up the backstretch. The pace is not fast. A 50.2 half mile for Senau, who rounds the far turn in front by a length over Honorable Hero. False Info is third on the inside. And then it's Coral Legacy and Go Poke the Bear, the favorite now, on the rail in 4.5 lengths from the front, leading only Collins Ave and Tom Park around that far turn. Senau continues to lead the way. Honorable Hero is second. False Info is third, and Collins Ave has been set down on the outside and is coming strongly toward the front runners with a wide run. They're into the stretch. Senau the leader. Collins Ave on the outside, closing in. Honorable Hero between those 2. Tom Park taken to the outside. And the favorite Go Poke the Bear last at the 16th pole. It is Senau in front. Senau trying to last another 16th. Collins Ave, then Tom Park. They're not going to catch Senau, who set an easy pace and won it by 2. And then it was Collins Ave second, followed by Honorable Hero, and a photo between False Info and Coral Legacy.
Todd Pletcher, Luis Saez, Senau making his 3-year-old debut with a win here to start off this NYRA Bets late pick 5.
And you can see why they have the courses listed as good. Obviously, it's taken a little bit of rain. This was a moderate pace, though, even for the inner turf course on this course level. And Senau, a very good aggressive ride by Luis Saez, put him on the front end, and nobody could come close to catching him. Some traffic behind him. The number 2, Go Poke the Bear, the favorite, had no chance considering how buried he was, but nobody was catching this horse, Greg.
7-1, jumps out to the front, aggressive, and when they came to him, finds another gear and pulls away. So nice start here. $16 horse to kick things off. And meanwhile, we're going to go back to the start here in a moment. Blinkers did not do what they were supposed to do for Tom Park.
Right. I mean, he ended up finishing 6th and second to last in this race, but he completely in the pan. It'd be easier to see it, but if you watch it, the pan, he just gets completely left in this race. He's standing in the gate, and you can't. He breaks a good 2 lengths behind the field in this race, and when you combine that with how slow the pace was, what chance did he possibly have, Greg?
So in the end, Senau, 2 wins from 4 tries over turf. Son of Tiz Now gets the job done. This was just his first race back as a 3-year-old, but again, he got to do it alone on the front end.
He did, and you know, it wasn't exactly a killer field, but you know, this once again gets back, and maybe riders are riding to instructions. Maybe Bruce Brown told Manny Franco that you want to rate in this race because Manny seemed to want to gather him in, but why would you not look at this race and say, my best chance with False Info is to be forwardly placed, and he compromised whatever chance he had with that trip.
7-5-3-1-2 wins today for Luis Saez. Prices when we come back, and we'll set up race 6 from Belmont to kick off the late pick 4 right after this on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2.
Runhappy was the fastest 3-year-old sprinter of his generation.
Runhappy is stamping his horses. And they all got great necks, great hind legs. They all got a good walk, and this colt moves very, very well. Very smart. He hasn't turned a hair since we had him. First day we turned him out, he was very, very gentle in his paddock and did everything right. He's got an exceptional pedigree.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Coming on strong. Coming home.
Here's Minute to Stardom, making her papa proud. The Star Guitar filly.
Coming on.
Testing, 1-2. The Star Guitar filly leads Champagne Diva close to home. It's testing, 1-2. On the wire with Vida Star. Photo finish.
My love for you. Coming on strong.
This successful son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast. This year, Flatter is adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record at stud. In the auction ring, Flatter topped the 2018 Fasig-Tipton July sale with a $520,000 yearling. And this year, his juveniles have sold up to $375,000. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2 MSG Plus and Fox Sports Prime Ticket. Good to have you with us. C now gets to the front. 2 wins today for Luis Saez as he goes gate to wire.
And, you know, it was a great move by Luis. He had a plan, and he put it into action, and it paid off.
Todd Pletcher, Wertheimer, and Frere, and a set of Tiz now out of an AP Indy Mare Neptuno. With the win as we move on to race 6, this will kick off the late pick 4. 6 furlongs, $32,000 claiming race. Clairvoyant Lady, Linda Rice, coming off a 3rd in the extra heat, beat a length.
I got to give David Aragona credit, makes the morning line. He made her favored here. I thought he was absolutely out of his mind to make her favored, and she is clearly favored looking at the... Well, actually, it's close. The pick double, she's favored. The pick 3, the 1 Summer Punch, is favored. I don't get the appeal of this horse, to be honest with you, Greg, though she feels to me like one of the 4 major players in a wide-open race.
Back at Churchill Downs, Color Guard, Corey Lannery, Dane Kabisky, PTK LLC, your winning connections, returns $8.60.
Well, we talked about it before the race. Was the controlling inside speed. And a great job by Corey Lannery. Even though a little bobble at the start, he held that position.
Let's go to Frank Lyons for more.
I'm standing here with Corey Lannery, who just rode Color Guard to victory in the first race. Does it take the pressure off, Corey, when you come to the races and you win the first race, you know?
Yeah, you know, I think it does. You know, when you come out and you win the first one you ride, it kind of sets the tone, you know, and things seem to come easier after you get that first one done. Yeah. So, you know, it's obviously still you have pressure because it's different owners and different trainers, but it does seem to help.
Now, you rode this horse only once before, and that was last time out. Did you learn anything about him?
Yeah, you know, last time I rode him, he seemed really kind of one-paced, and so today I tried to get a good break.
Yeah, 24-48, nice even pace. You had it in the bag from early on, I think.
I thought so, you know, mid-stretch, I think the 5 horse, he kind of got by me a little bit, but I thought I had a little bit left, and I was saving the left hand for the last part, and I was lucky it worked.
Well, many more winners to come. Corey, well done.
Thank you.
All right, so Corey Lannery takes the opener at Churchill, and much more to come from Mount Louisville. We'll set up the start of their pick 4 in that second race, maiden claiming event coming up momentarily. A lot of big racing coming up, and a race that was the beginning of what became a superstar story last year with Catholic Boy, the Pennine Ridge.
Yeah, I know. And one of your favorite races of last year, Greg, and a very good field. Chad Brown obviously well represented here, as is Todd Pletcher. Both have 2. And both of them can win.
Yeah, I still have nightmares about this race from last year. Value proposition, 1 of the 2 for trainer Chad Brown. What'd you think of his debut effort? He won by more than 4 lengths, going a mile and a 16th on a yielding turf course.
Extremely impressive win for this time, first time out. Barkley Taghorse came to his flank, looked like he might go by, and he cruised past him, and he was green. I mean, you'll see him sort of do a little dipsy-do, ducking in late and towards the rail. Still got a 90 Beyer speed figure. Given the ground, we've had a little bit of rain, so the courses will be closer to firm, but they're not going to be super hard for this time of year. There you see him doing that little act there. This horse could turn out to be as good a 3-year-old turf horse we have in the country, but he's got competition here.
Well, Chad Brown with DeMarchelier. Did I get that out right?
You did. You've seen the Delaware's Prada, and as many people may know from that, the fashion photographer Patrick DeMarchelier, this horse named for him by owner Peter Brandt. And, you know, this win, first time at Aqueduct, it felt like he was just figuring it out, right? He barely gets up, and he actually beat a horse, Seismic Wave, the Juddmonte horse, the number 3, who's coming back here for Bill Mott as the number 7 horse. He ran very well, though, at Keeneland last time. He was wide the entire way at Keeneland, and it was a well-earned victory over a good Brian Lynch horse who came back with a nice win.
Meanwhile, Todd Pletcher will be represented as well, on a horse who has a little more seasoning than those 2. He's rolled off 3 consecutive wins on the turf, including a stakes win in the Woodhaven.
He was very impressed in this race. He also was allowed to control on the front end, which sometimes can exaggerate a performance, but he looked powerful in the stretch, and
very
it's an interesting...
slow fractions.
Yes,
too.
very,
he's a yielding turf
very,
horse, though.
but very slow, and he's beating a nice horse for Jeremiah Englehart, 40 under, who's going to be running in the Penn Mile on Saturday. And of course, he won our Pilgrim last year. horse is improving with every start for Todd Pletcher, and that's what you like to see. And Todd has a situation, as opposed to the 2 Chad Brown runners, both of Todd Pletcher's horses can be relatively forwardly placed. So they have a bit of a tactical advantage over Chad Brown's horses. So depending on how you feel about them, even if you feel like they're a little bit less good, they may have that tactical advantage that gives them an edge in here, Greg. So I think it's a very interesting race, and it all leads into our new turf what is it? The turf triple or Trinity, Turf Trinity, and that'll of course start on Stars and Stripes Day with our Belmont Derby.
And the way this we talked about that 5 furlong interesting race for 2-year-olds. The way this starts and the inner turf at a mile and a 16th.
This is a mile and an 1/8.
Sorry, at a mile and an 1/8. Yeah, on the inner turf. If you're wide and you're slow early, you could get really stuck outside and lose a lot of ground.
And you see slower paces. Now, obviously, value proposition is helped by being inside, but the horses who are forwardly placed in these races can often have a big advantage.
Yeah, Social Paranoia, the other Todd Pletcher runner in that race. We're going to talk pick 4 from Belmont when we come back. Clairvoyant Lady for Linda Rice. Right now, the one to beat. We'll be back with more next.
Eclipse champion Blame was considered by many as the breakout stallion of 2018. His top runners included Grade 1 winner and Eclipse Award finalist Marley's Freedom, plus Grade 1 winner Fault and graded stakes winners Maraud, Beyond Blame, Miss Kentucky, and Blamed. His yearling sold up to $500,000, and his sensational daughter Fault brought $1.2 million at the November sale. Outstanding results, outstanding value. Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Tom Durkin letting you know New York breds start with an advantage. At the sales, buyers pay up to 7 figures, and there's over $2 million in stakes money limited to New York sired horses in the New York Stallion Stakes Series, like the Park Avenue for 3-year-old fillies.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
For fun and money. The winner's share generates an additional $55,000 from the New York Breeding Fund.
Funny Guy's gonna do it.
Funny Guy's win in the Times Square division generates the same money. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearly manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So first we have a colt out of Rapid Repair. He's a really nice colt. Very happy with how he's come along as a yearling. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Winning colors there of Country House, your Kentucky Derby winner.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame trainer Bill Mott.
Saratoga, Jim Dandy, Travers, looking forward to it.
Jim Dandy looks like the next spot for Country House. It's going to be a fun summer with these 3-year-olds. This second at Churchill Downs, mile and a 16th, $20,000 maiden claiming event. And the entry, 6-5 right now. Speed App dropping in for a claiming tag for the very first time. Let's go to Frank Lyons.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. Well, Speed App looked very well in the paddock. I got to take this thing out because I can hear everyone talking to me. So Speed Up looked great in the paddock, and you know, I know that Dwayne Lucas doesn't give away anything. Now he drops in for 20,000 today off several maiden special weights. He ran against Cutting Humor, the Kentucky Derby winner here just several starts back, and he drops down in for 20,000. So you know, I think that the 2-horse here, Gary and Mary West, the Kentucky Derby winning owners that was DQ'd, has sent out front page. Joe Sharp is the trainer of that one. That horse looks very well. He cost $325,000 at the Keeneland September sale. He's in for 20,000, so you know they're giving up on him also. And then Monty, Maggie Moss, Tom Amoss. Tom said that he was, you know, he's confident that his horse is going to run a big race, but he's just a horse. So it's basically you have a choice. Choose between 6 of them. You get 2 for the price of 1 with the 1 horse. But I'm going to go with the 2.
All right, Frank, thanks. So the 2 front page, and that is a horse who's dropping to the lowest level he has run at before. That's the one for trainer Joe Sharp as the inside.
Bad news for Frank Lyons. I like front page as well in here.
Boy.
Love to see his rider use this horse's speed when he stretches out a little bit. Now, he hasn't shown much. I don't know how fast he is, but there's not a ton of speed of the horses that have run in here. So an aggressive ride could put him forward. No argument that one Speed App's the horse to beat, dropping down, but he's also 0 for 11.
Against much better.
Yes,
Look,
no
we were
question
just
about
talking
it.
about
No question about it.
Intrepid Heart in the Belmont Stakes. He was second to Intrepid Heart in a maiden race, and then he ran in a Derby prep at Turfway.
He did.
As a maiden.
But he also beat a horse, Sneeds, who finished 3rd, who's running here over the weekend. And when you see his PPs, you'll say, I didn't really like Speed App in that race at Churchill. But I don't disagree. Obviously, he's talented. And, Wayne Lucas has decent numbers. Here's one, maiden special to maiden claimer in dirt routes. Wayne is 6 for 32. Now, it's only 19%, but it's a 278 ROI. But you're talking about a horse that's a big favorite right now. You get the other half, but Speed App seems one of the clearly better, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the reason for the short price. Although, Powell at least woke up a little bit, dropping to this level last time out, a very distant second. But no doubt, yes, Speed App is the one they're playing.
It feels like he is. Front page, his best buyer speed figure was when he went a mile against a decent horse in St. Augustine. That was back at Ellis Park. He ran at Oakland a couple months ago, but he comes in here for Joe Sharp, drops down, and I just think he's a very good alternative to the entry at a much better price.
And, Frank brought up Motti for trainer Tom Amoss, our colleague here. It's second off the claim, and apparently Tom said this horse is not anything special. Well, it's the $20,000 maiden claiming race.
Well, when you have the Kentucky Oaks winner in your barn, they all look average to you, right?
He's spoiled now, isn't he?
He really is. I mean, it's going to
happen so
it's
quickly.
It's going to be ugly in Saratoga when he comes there and his head's gotten all big.
But Motti, the 4 we're talking about, Tyler Gaffalione aboard, drops down again, but it has been in a similar level and nearly got the job done. I mean, this horse figures, right?
No question about it. I think he's a very fair price in here. He's taken a ton of money. It's sort of interesting. And listen, you don't win races at the high percentage and the bunches that Tom Amoss does because you don't run your horses where they belong. He runs them where they can win, and that's where he's running Motti.
Now, what about the 5? Blinkers going on, a horse stretching out, has shown some sprint speed. Try and steal it, maybe?
I think it's interesting because he does have the most natural speed of anyone in here, and he potentially could be in front. We'll see if Calvin Burrell rides him that way.
And his love at Turkey Club for Phil Bauer. We're set. Race 2, Churchill Downs. Let's go to Travis Stone for the call from Louisville.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Speed Up with a good start. Also right there is Love at Turkey Club, who's hustled out of the gate and comes on to take over the lead. So it's Love at Turkey Club out to set the pace. Speed Up backs off to be second, angling a little bit off the rail to track the pacemaker to the clubhouse turn. Letting off steam is 3 wide, racing up into 4th. Front page is down inside 5th. Daddy's on strike in some traffic, racing in 6th. 5 lengths back to Pow and 3 lengths back to Modi at the back of the pack. 6 furlongs to go. Love at Turkey Club, heading for the backstretch run. Unopposed so far. Speed Up tracking in 2nd. Letting off steam, inching forward on the outside from 3rd. The opening quarter mile in 23 and 4. 5 furlongs to go. Daddy's on strike is hustled along on the outside, racing in 4th. Front page inside 5th. Pow's getting closer 6th, and so is Modi in 7th. So it's Love at Turkey Club past the half-mile pole. Speed Up is closer on the outside. They're now head-in-head for the lead. Letting off steam is hovering to the outside, and Pow picks it up. Pow with a 4-wide blitz out of the far turn, rallying strongly up to challenge the entry made for the lead. Speed Up. Giving way is Love at Turkey Club. Modi rolls up into 3rd now. Letting off steam is back into 4th, and front page is 5th by the quarter pole. Speed Up down inside, Pow outside, Pow's in front. But Speed Up is not done yet, and Modi's 3rd, and trying to close in. There's 1 furlong left. Pow with a tenuous lead. Speed Up battles on. Modi grinding away in 3rd. 16th to go. It's Pow in front. Speed Up won't back down, keeps on trying. So does Modi, but Pow still has the lead, and Pow won it. Pow the winner by half a length on the wire. Speed Up was 2nd. Modi was 3rd. It's a long way back to front page 4th.
Just a $20,000 maiden claiming race. This became sort of exciting here, seeing these stablemates go at each other. And as well, I guess we were wrong. Pow gets the win.
Yeah.
We thought Speed Up was decisively the one to beat.
However, which one were they betting? I still think if you liked Pow, you're annoyed, right? Because you would have got a better price.
We weren't wrong. That's all we said.
Yeah.
They're betting the one.
Yeah, yeah. If you liked Pow, though, you might have gotten like $12 or something if they left him on his own. He ran well. He got a very big middle move by Robbie Alvarado. Modi looked like he might pick him up in mid-stretch. I was kind of hoping we'd get that Tom Amoss interview.
Oh, this nearly worked out perfectly for trainer Tom Amoss. Yeah, the stablemates dueling each other into submission. Not to be, though, as Pow able to get the job done. 1A14. Long way back to your third-place finisher in terms of trifecta wagering. I'll make that official for you in a moment. 1A1423 finish at Churchill Downs as we're back at Belmont for the 6th race coming up to start off the pick 4. And I thought this was a difficult race.
Yeah, it is. I agree. I mean, for me, the 1, Summer Punch, the 3, Friend of Liberty, the 2, Linda Rices, the 4 and 6, Clairvoyant Lady, and Honey Graham. But it's when you narrow it down to 4, you're not exactly cutting down the possibilities.
So here's Summer Punch and 2 back in that stakes race. That was the biggest race that she's run. She only beat a horse, though, who's won for State Bred 25, Open 16.
Well, those were starter allowances. And Archie My Baby ran a very big race when she beat her. If she runs back to a race 2 and 3 back, she will win.
Wildcat Bell, speed at 5-1.
I don't know if she can run competitively anymore, but you know they're going to send her.
Friend of Liberty, Michelle Nevin sends out, big drop down.
Boy, she ran so well when Michelle claimed her at this level in the beginning. It's just that every race has gotten worse than the others.
Linda Rice sends out Clairvoyant Lady, who opened as the favorite.
I don't understand the big appeal because there's so many horses in this race if they run their races that appear to be faster.
Timely Tradition, Kendrick Carmouche already has a win on today's card.
If you like her, you're counting on Antonio Arriaga, who claimed her, improving her off the claim and getting back to her best races and hoping nobody else runs their better races. To me, it's not a great gamble, but she's a price.
Honey Graham at 9-2. Jose Ortiz for the other Linda Rice runner.
She's best when she's forwardly placed, and she's going to have to deal with Wildcat Bell, but she has rated to win. We'll see. Claim from Danny Gargan. Not an easy guy to claim from.
Cutting back in distance from a mile last time out. And here's the 7 Chorus Line long shot. 17-1.
Hey, at one time, Greg, she was a player in here, but that time was quite a while ago.
Yeah, we've got a rider change on the outside. Harry Hernandez on Gypsy Janey, who is a 6-time winner from 19 starts, but recently has not been showing a lot.
Is it a rider change if you just change the first name? Benji to Harry? Both Hernandezes?
It's still considered a rider change.
Her form has dissipated.
So 24-1 there on the outside. You could bet great evening racing from 2 of the country's best tracks today and earn a $10 bonus. Bet $50 at Belmont and $50 at Churchill, and you'll get a $10 bonus if you bet it on the NYRA Bets app. Your bets don't even have to hit the board to earn the bonus. Go to NYRABets.com to get started. Let's check in with 4-time Major League All-Star Paul LoDuca, who joins us now on the show for the first time.
Thanks, guys. Live here from trackside. I was checking out the 2 Linda Rice horses, and you have the 6 in here, Honey Graham, who is a ton of speed. Both of these horses are basically the same when you look at these fillies and one mare. Honey Graham claimed 2 starts back and then ran in the Sin City, showed some speed, and then backed up. Now, Clairvoyant Lady, the 4, same thing. Got claimed, 2 out, and then ran in a nice little stakes race, the extra heat, but she ran a lot better. Now, can Wildcat Bell keep Honey Graham company on the front end? I always leave that question to Andy Serling. And Andy, can Clairvoyant Lady come from off the pace?
Well, I mean, Clairvoyant Lady is a horse that's shown the ability to rate, so she can do it before. She's just done it against, in my opinion, somewhat lesser fields. I think of the 4 major contenders, I thought she was the least likely to win here. Not that she can't win. The least likely to win, but as a short price, I just don't think she's any bargain.
I like her warm-up here. As we take a look back to the 30th of March, this last time out in the extra heat, where she got beat a length, ran 3rd.
Yeah, those were, once again, you'll see a few in this race that are coming out of those starter allowance races. She ran fine in here. There's nothing wrong with her effort. No Deal Who Won has been really an overachiever over the last 6 months for trainer Phil Serpy. Hayfield also been running well in subsequent starts. This was a solid effort. I wouldn't say she's impossible out of it, but she's 3-1 now, and the suggestion looking at the multi-race bets is she's going to be a shorter price. This is the kind of race where I want to take the bigger prices of the horses that are taking money, or the horse that can win.
And both the Ortiz brothers on the 2 Linda Rice runners, and they're both the 4 and the 6, getting somewhat aggressive warm-ups here as we take a look at Summer Punch for Robert Barbera. Dylan Davis aboard, a 6-time winner from 18 starts.
And the race we're going to look at, too, back is the Videogenic. And this was another one of the star allowances. And she looks like a winner only to get nailed at the wire. Now, Aren't You My Baby, who beat her, was Gary Gullo off the claim. And Gary's sensational off the claim. And I think, arguably, that's the best race that Summer Punch ever ran. She just happened to have run into a horse that ran an incredible race to beat her. She didn't handle the slop last time. Either she can't run at all anymore suddenly, or she can't handle the slop.
But this horse who beats her, too, is certainly no killer, right?
No, she's not, except she ran a killer race that day. And the speed figure, I don't care what speed figures you look at, her speed figure was solid in that race. So she ran a race. I mean, would you disagree with me if you were confident that she would run as fast as she ran that day? Wouldn't you say she should be favored here?
Well, I think across the board, no matter what you look at, she ran a big number. I wonder where that race came from.
For the winner.
Well, yeah, but even Summer Punch ran a big number that day. Where'd it come from her?
Well, I mean, if you're looking at Buyer Figs, she had run 5 straight races that were all within range of an 80. So she had been in terrific form, and the only explanation I can come with her last race is she just didn't nail a sloppy seal track because it's such an aberrant effort from her other races.
She loves off tracks, though.
Well, she won a sloppy seal track in her race before that with a 64 Buyer. So maybe she just won because she beat lesser horses. I agree, but she didn't run well last time.
And you bring it up all the time, and I reiterate this too. No two off tracks are the same, so it's hard to say bunch them all together and say she loves that off track that she got last time.
And they're quirky too, Greg, right? Sometimes they get out there and say, you know what, I really don't feel like running in this goo today.
Can you blame them?
No. Are you kidding me?
Here is Friend of Liberty. Michelle Nevin drops from an optional 62 claiming race last time out when she did hit the board. And just off that drop, that's much tougher races than just about anybody in here, right?
And it's the level that Michelle Nevin claimed this horse at. So it's not as though they're just giving the horse away. And it's not an exact one because it's 62,000 to 32,000. But with 50% class droppers, Michelle Nevin has huge numbers overall. So I won't be surprised when this horse runs well. I just don't like the fact that she's form has been getting away from her.
And I know we're looking at the 6, but staying with the 3 for a moment, how aggressive was Michelle when she first claimed this horse? Out of a, 32 claimer? Puts her in the grade 2 Gallant Bloom.
And she wasn't wrong. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, the horse ran a very credible 5th in that race, came back in an allowance race on a sloppy seal track and ran an 89 Buyer. So the confidence they showed early was rewarded with her. She really had been doing very well. And her owner, Vinny Scuderi, is a very sharp guy. He's been around for a long time.
Did we just find the winner?
Well, I think she can definitely win. I mean, to me, I want the 1 and 3 here. I'm not, of the 4 big ones, I prefer the 1 and 3, Summer Punch and Friend of Liberty, over the 2 Linda Rice runners, though they, once again, be the 4 I would use.
Yeah, I like Friend of Liberty, too, as we take, and so does Paul, as we take a look at the gray 5-year-old mare. Manny Franco will be aboard. And as you look at prices quickly there from that second at Churchill Downs, the entry doubly tough in that spot. Pow with the win, $4.80.
He just laid a big punch on him on the turn, Greg.
Considering, I know, look, considering he beat a much more heavily favored stablemate, I know they're the entry, but, I mean, everyone was playing the straight one in there. And that's a decent win for Powell.
I'm just looking forward to a potential Dale Romans, Frank Lyons interview. I mean, that, for me, that would make the show, right? Might make my week.
We got a lot of show left. It could still happen.
That's a heavyweight matchup in the winner's circle between those two. 2 Breeders' Cup winning trainers.
Yes, indeed. There's a look at the 5 here. Timely tradition. So, Kendrick Carmouche off the claim here for Antonio Arriaga. Has won at Belmont before.
He gets it from Rob Atras. And even Rob couldn't get this horse to win when Rob was going well.
Well, and look who beat this horse last time.
Aren't You My Baby.
Right, who Summer Punch ran the lights out against.
But Aren't You My Baby's form fell apart after that race, even though she won that race. Listen, I didn't. My problem with her was even her best races, I wasn't sure they were good enough. But listen, she's a price. I'm off the claim by a sharp guy.
Loading up here for the start of this pick 4. I'm sorry, Andy, you're not going to get your wish today. Dale Romans, his work is done for the day.
That is just so wrong.
Summer Punch moving in line. A lot of us have jumped on the bandwagon. Here are the 3. Friend of Liberty for Michelle Nevin, dropping down in class. But this is a very contentious field here, and it's back to the 4. Clairvoyant Lady, who is the one to beat. 1 of 2 in here for Linda Rice. She also sends out the 6 Honeygram. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call. Larry Collmus, take it away.
Now Chorus Line moves into the starting gate. The outside group has loaded well, but we are having a bit of trouble with Summer Punch trying to come up to the inside stall here. And it looks like Summer Punch has gone in. So here's Wildcat Bell, who comes up to the second spot in the starting gate. Friend of Liberty will be the next one. Clairvoyant Lady is now the 2-to-1 favorite and moves into line. And Gypsy Janie will be the last one in. They're all in line. They're off. And it's Wildcat Bell out the quickest, with Friend of Liberty away running in second, and Honey Graham going up on the outside. A length farther back to Gypsy Janie. Clairvoyant Lady is fifth early on, then Timely Tradition, Summer Punch along the inside. The trailer is Chorus Line. And now the field racing for the far turn, where it's Wildcat Bell on top a half a length. Honey Graham on the outside, pressing the pace. 22.88 was that first quarter mile. Gypsy Janie third on the outside. At the rail, it's Friend of Liberty. Timely Tradition goes up there 3 wide. Now puts in a bit all the way up into third and heads for the top 2 midway on the far turn. Clairvoyant Lady is 6th behind horses. Now going to switch to the outside for a 3 wide run too as they come toward the top of the stretch. And Honey Graham pokes ahead in front after a 46.51 half. Timely Tradition takes her on from the outside. Wildcat Bell gives way down toward the rail. Clairvoyant Lady moves in company with Friend of Liberty as they come toward the final 16th. It is Timely Tradition on the outside of Honey Graham. Clairvoyant Lady, then comes Friend of Liberty. Timely Tradition, Honey Graham battles on. These two, Timely Tradition beats Honey Graham on the wire. Clairvoyant Lady was third and Friend of Liberty was fourth.
Timely Tradition, Antonio Arriaga off the claim. 2 today for Kendrick Carmouche.
She really improved off the claim. I mean, she really ran today. She was in the game the whole way. She showed much more speed than she's showing. I wonder if this is a horse that was working well leading in this race, because this was a real step forward to her. This was absolutely as well as she's ever run. Antonio Arriaga is a guy that's had good wins off the claim before. He did a good job getting this horse and getting the winner's circle, and Kendrick put her in position to win.
5-6-4 finish. Kendrick continuing to have an outstanding meet as he gets the job done here on Timely Tradition. Won the opener on today's card as well. Jumping out to the front on Elizabeth Nicole. Collects another one here. And does so at a price as well, 6-1 on Timely Tradition. We're going to take a break in the action when we come back. Up next at Belmont, our 7th race. Maidens in action, and SAFTA. Wow, they thought highly of her after her maiden run. Put her in the Grade 2 Gulfstream Park Oaks, where she was looking for her first win. She's back in action next.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Coming on strong. Coming on.
Minute to stardom leaves them all behind with an impressive-looking run.
Coming on.
Testing 1-2 is all alone. She comes to the 16th pole, and this one is all over but the crying. At the 16th pole, this is all rockin' Sunday mash.
My love for you. Coming on strong.
Kentucky Derby winner Orb. On the track, his runners have scored on both dirt and turf, including multiple stakes winner Autumn Warrior, stakes performers Scrapper and Malocchio, and Sipacan Harbor, winner of the Grade 1 Spinaway Stakes at Saratoga. In the sales ring, his 2-year-olds have fetched prices up to $1.25 million and multiple yearlings up to $1 million. Classic winner classic pedigree, or standing at Claiborne Farm.
Smarty Jones enters the stretch to the roar of 120,000, but Birdstone is going to make him earn it today. The whip is out on Smarty Jones. It's been 26 years. It's just 1 furlong away. Birdstone is an upside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes.
Well, after 5 seconds in the Belmont, Nick Zito finally breaks through in a race that means a lot to the native New Yorker. Of course, would go on to win the Travers as well later that summer.
Birdstone was a very good horse, and, he never got the respect he deserved because he beat Smarty Jones.
Connections apologized to Smarty Jones afterwards.
And they had nothing to apologize for. He didn't take advantage of some big pace meltdown. He was never more than 4.5 lengths off the lead. Never far off the lead. And he won the Travers, and he got a sloppy seal track in the Derby that prevented him from running. I love Birdstone, and I think he's unfairly unrecognized as a super talent.
You don't buy into the Eddington...
I'm not saying that Smarty Jones didn't run necessarily the best race, but I don't think that Birdstone got super lucky to win. That's all I'm saying.
No, tremendous horse. We're just a week away for the Belmont Stakes, a little over a week. War of Will likely be the favorite. Who do you think can beat him? Tacitus, Tax, Everfast, or nobody? Make your voice heard. Go to @ABR Live. What do you think, Andy?
I think Tacitus is going to be the favorite. I think the question for me was, and I polled this the other day, who do you think would beat the likely one to beat Tacitus in War of Will?
We got to give the star power, though, to the horse coming in off the win in the Triple Crown.
No, don't give me the proverbial we. If you would like to, go ahead. I think Tacitus is the horse to beat. And I respect War of Will. Maybe not enough.
All eyes on War of Will. After his redemption at the Preakness, will he triumph again and take the Belmont Stakes on June the 8th? Get your tickets now. Go to BelmontStakes.com or Ticketmaster.com. Get your tickets reserved for the big day. Back here at Belmont, Kander Carmouche collects his second win of the day for the Players Group, and Antonio Arriaga off the claim. Timely tradition. Now 7 for 19.
Gets the job done. Linda Rice, second and third there. Honey Graham, Clairvoyant Lady. I feel like the horse that you liked in there, Greg, Friend of Liberty, she never got that clear path to make her run. Not saying she would have won, but she was always sort of encumbered by other horses.
Well, this NYRA Bets late pick 5 already shaping up to be a fantastic payout with C now. It's 7-1 to kick it off, and now Timely Tradition at 6-1. We'll set the stage for the 7th coming up in just a little bit. Right now it's Rosina. This is a filly who actually ran in the UAE Derby against Pincay Parfait.
But there is going to be a horse that is not even the favorite in the board now, the number 6 Softa, who is going to be and should be an enormous favorite.
Absolutely. We'll talk more about this field coming up in just a minute. We're going to head back to Churchill Downs. Their third race is coming up at 6.5 furlongs.
Night racing at Churchill, night racing at Belmont right now.
Yeah, we got twilight action.
Dark.
Yeah, it's getting a little
little eerie here.
We need the lights soon. This third, though, at Churchill, good race coming up in this spot. Pat Daddy's going to take plenty of support in this spot, although the favorite right now is the 6, Gentrified at 5-2. David Cohen for Carl Broberg.
Running very fast figs. David Cohen been struggling since he went over. Feels like the one to beat. I prefer Pat Daddy, but boy, those two are in great form.
Now let's take a look at our field, and we begin with WB Smudge. Steve Asmussen off the claim, a 14-time winner.
Off the claim, Steve Asmussen's got good numbers. Churchill Downs off the claim in dirt sprints. He's 40% with 15 starters, $2 ROI.
Old veteran there, the 10-year-old. Here's Overcame for Chelsea Cody.
Maybe this one overcame, but he has a lot to overcome in this field. Tough spot.
He's only beat a neck by Pat Daddy 2 starts back. Here's the 3,
44 to
Trace Ikis.
Comes in from Oaklawn Park. Stewie Elliott is riding a horse that could be part of the pace.
A 2-time winner on this surface. Here's the 4, Pat Daddy.
Looking for his 4th straight win. Once they got this horse off synthetic. In fact, this horse has won at least 4 straight on dirt. No, I'm sorry, 5 straight. Undefeated on the dirt. Why run it in synthetic, Greg?
Containment. Blinkers, I think they finally figured it out. New connections.
Yeah, 1 for 26 in synthetic and 5 for 5 on dirt.
Containment. Blinkers coming off 13-1.
Would be a long shot winner here.
Here's Gentrified. David Cohen. Carl Broberg comes in off a win at Oaklawn.
Look at this horse in the last 7 races. 4 wins, 2 seconds, and a 3rd.
And won 5 of his last 8. And here's Siki, Tom Vanberg, Tyler Bass.
Not out of it. I don't think this horse is impossible. Would have to step forward a little bit, but good enough to at least be a threat.
And Distorted Ransom on the outside, Chantal Sutherland.
This horse is going to be a bit of a tough spot for this horse. I have to move forward.
9-1. Back to Cheeky, the 7, trained by Tom Van Berg. He's with Frank Lyons.
So I'm standing here with Tom Van Berg as we wait on the 3rd race, and he sends out Kiki in this race. One thing I notice about this horse, Tom, is that this might be his favorite racetrack. Is that what he needs to to get the win today?
You know, he actually runs a pretty honest race most of the time. I think it's more of a speed duel is his chip in his armor, his chink in his armor. I think if he goes head and too fast, the one poor race he ran here, they went really fast on a really strong closing bias track, and he faded. Another time we ran him up at Indiana Grand, he didn't like that track at all. Either time we ran him on the grass and on the dirt up there, he just never liked it. It broke away from him up there. Right. He breaks really hard, and so he needs a track that he can get a hold of. And Churchill's always been good. Oaklawn's been good for him. So Ellis Park has been good for him. It's just I think Indiana Grand's is one that he doesn't really get a hold of.
Sure. So how hopeful are you tonight? How confident are you tonight?
He's doing exceptionally well, but I think Broberg's got the horse in here gentrified. He's awfully tough in here. Right. If he runs his race, I think everybody else is running for second, but we're going to give him a run, see what we can find.
All right. Kiki, Tom Van Berg.
Frank, thank you very much. 7-2 on the 7 in here, but as Tom Van Berg said, yeah, gentrified, the one to beat, and the public agrees right now. That is the favorite on the board. Won 5 of his last 8 starts. We'll have that 3rd from Churchill. And more from Belmont when we come back.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. With yearlings bringing up to $650,000 and his first crop 2-year-old selling up to $430,000, the sky is the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's a natural thing that you upgrade some of your mares, your younger mares that you think have big potential. Due to the stallion roster is so big and high class, it helps you to take a mare on a certain level up to the next level. We breed a fairly high number of mares over there every year, and it's very easy for us to find 2 mares to breed to their stallion roster for sure. On a certain segment of our mares, it does have a big influence. It's an easy choice for us.
This is a colt by Runhappy out of Addison Run. We bred here at Mockra Hall. Well, he's a big, strong, good bone, big old hip on him. Moves really well. Has that kind of big cat-like walk when he just relaxes and gets rolling up and down the lane.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farms.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Back on America's Day at the Races, our show brought to you in part each and every day by the champion sprinter Runhappy, now standing for $25,000 and a legendary stall number 1 at Claiborne Farm. We're going to see some of his babies at the sales this summer, and we're going to see him in action at the racetrack starting in 2020, and we cannot wait. It's going to be fun.
I'm going to go to this. Can't wait for the sales either.
Always such a tremendous part of the Saratoga experience. Upstate, back at Churchill Downs, we have the 3rd race coming up, 7-5. That price getting shorter on the 6th. Gentrified, who's won 5 of his last 8 starts. Let's go back to Frank Lyons.
I think that Gentrified deserves to be a short price, guys, because he ran second to Mojito Rojo, who won the Steve Sexton Mile down at Lone Star Grade 3 and has won like 14 out of 24, and his form is kind of unbelievable for the starter allowance, which he is allowed enter in because he ran for the 10,000, which you're supposed to run for to enter into this race. So he ran for 10,000 at Del Mar last year on the 9th of August, and he's been basically a win machine since being claimed by Carl Broberg. But for Pat Daddy, I know you guys hit on it, but I think it's kind of an interesting a bit of information. This horse is undefeated on dirt. He's a 7-year-old who is at 2 for 37 lifetime on all other surfaces but dirt. I think they're getting ready to go.
Well, let's see if the 4-horse can keep it going. Let's go to Travis Stone with the call. Pat Daddy breaks from post 4.
And they're off. WB Smudge missed the break for that inside post. Pat Daddy from mid-pack fires out fast. Containment is also there. And Siki on the far outside. Those three right across the track. Overcame comes away 4th and toward the rail. Tresekis is on the move from 5th, going past Distorted Ransom. Then it's WB Smudge, moved up 1 spot from that slow beginning. Gentrifies the last of them all early. 8 lengths behind Peacemaking Pat Daddy. Pat Daddy past the half-mile pull in front. Containment is right there, though, second with pressure. And Siki's not far behind either, making it 3 across the track for the run around the far turn. A margin of 2 back to Overcame, who's racing 4th. Tresekis is 5th. WB Smudge in 6th. Distorted Ransom. Gentrified is still at the back. So around the far turn, Siki comes away with the lead. It's Siki in front with a 1/4 mile to go. Pat Daddy trying to keep pace with that one. Containment is back into 3rd. Overcame's worked out a good trip in behind in 4th. Tresekis trying to rally up from 5th. WB Smudge angles outside with Distorted Ransom. 1 furlong to go. Pat Daddy's fended them all off so far. Back in front by 2. Tresekis rolls up into 2nd, trying to close in. WB Smudge late on the scene. Overcame toward the rail, but it's still Pat Daddy in front, and Pat Daddy did it. A length and a half on the wire. Tresekis was 2nd, is tight for 3rd. Overcame or WB Smudge.
Pat Daddy remains unbeaten on a dirt surface here. Now he's won 4 in a row.
No, that's why I liked him in here. And honestly, a very good ride by Channing Hill, being aggressive with him. The 4 Gentrified, some issue coming out of the gate. Kind of hopped after the start. Took himself completely out of the race. Looked like Pat Daddy was getting caught by Siki on the turn, but he battled back, got the job done. A very generous 4-1 and a horse, Greg, that is now 6 for 6 on the dirt. It's remarkable.
This is a cool story. And underneath, you get a big number as well as Trace Ikis at 1601 creates a little value. So 4-3, very tight for 2nd. Might have been the 1 who rounds out the trifecta there, WB Smudge. But Pat Daddy with the victory, make it 4 in a row for him as we have rain coming down pretty hard here at Belmont.
And we need a confirmation. Is race number 9 on or off the turf at this point? I haven't heard anything. It's still listed as good, so right now it's still on. And I think it's important because obviously there is a storm moving through.
In the meantime, the 7th race, about 10 minutes to post. Everyone currently trying to stay dry. Hopefully that's the case with Paul LoDuca as well. Let's check in with Paul now.
Yeah, guys, down here in the paddock, and right now, no hold up on this race so far. And yeah, Greg is right. It's starting to come down. It looks like the rain is going to keep on coming down. Right now, they have not decided to take that race off the turf as of yet. Now, to get to this race, let's get to SAFTA, who probably will be your favorite when it's all said and done, at least in the multis, and not really getting played at the win window at 4-1, but definitely for me the one to beat. I thought she looked okay in the paddock. I'm actually going to get a little water on the racetrack, and that might actually help her. She's a good 2nd place last time out. I can't believe she's 4-1. To me, she's the horse to beat. I don't think she's the horse to bet, but she's the horse to beat. The horse to bet may be the 7 here. Smooth with a kick with Chad Brown. 2 efforts, a 3rd and a 2nd. You know, this horse was bet first time out, going 7 panels. Didn't really work out. Then Chad decided to stretch her out. She was very, very keen. Might have made a middle move that day. It was about 3 or 4 wide, and then just sort of flattened out. Looked for her to be better. Now, the 2 is the very interesting one here for Kieran McLaughlin. Came over here, sitting on the bench while it was raining. I said, how's this horse? He goes, I don't know. She acts like a really good horse in the morning. I'm worried about her getting out of the gate. But if she gets out of the gate, she's got a big shot, Greg.
All right, so we'll keep our eyes on the 2 in this race. We mentioned she ran in the UAE Derby, a race that was won by a horse who would go on to compete in the Kentucky Derby, Pluquet Parfait. But break key for her.
I don't know what to do with her in this race. I mean, she gets LASIK. She did run okay races 2 back.
We're going to take a timeout. Maggie Wolfendale will step in for me when we return. Much more America's Day at the Races coming up on Fox Sports 2, MSG Plus, and Fox Sports Prime Ticket. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Our summer cruise is here at Spruce Lane Farm, and he's been a really intelligent horse since he got on the farm.
He's just got great balance and presence. He's got a really good mind, and he does everything that we like to do so far. The plans with this colt are probably to take him to Saratoga or to Keeneland Book 1 or 2. He fits those. We paid $250,000 for him, so he was an expensive horse, but that's where he belongs.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
An undefeated graded stakes winner on the track, Algorithms was the nation's #1 sire of 2-year-olds in 2017 by percentage of winners. His top runners include Rich Mommy, winner of the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl, multiple stakes winner and graded stakes performer Recruiting Ready, stakes winner and graded stakes performer Vanish, and recent stakes winners Taylor Spirit and Tracy Racing. In the ring, his 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $300,000. Algorithms, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, a twilight card here at beautiful Belmont Park, which is now a bit stormy as horses are hitting the track here for today's 7th race. Welcome to a third floor clubhouse studios. I'm Maggie Wolfendale, accompanied by NYRA handicapper Andy Serling.
You really timed this well, didn't you, to get out of the rain, didn't you?
I did.
Stick LoDuca down there in the paddock. He was sharper than you are. I want to remind people they just announced today's 9th race will be off the turf. And just for people who played our pick 4 as well as our pick 5 and the pick 6, for all of those bets, race number 9 will be an all wagers. It came off the turf after betting had closed for those races.
Thank you, Andy, and we'll also keep you abreast of any late scratches and changes that we had. Maiden special weight, we just got the call to post here, and we have seen post times moved up by 4 minutes for each of the last 3 races, as number 1, Cairo Queen, is hitting the track here for Kieran McLaughlin and Dylan Davis.
It's rare that you see a horse go out from a maiden claimer to a maiden special weight and be successful, a long shot.
Rosina makes her American debut for Kieran McLaughlin. The other one, this one is Joelle Rosario.
I'm not sure what to do with her. She's either a very smart play or a very dumb play. I can't figure it out.
Hightailing is number 4, or Cairo Cutie, sorry, skipping over her, goes first time out for Todd Pletcher.
Very eager to get that 4, Maggie.
I was.
You get a trainer change to Todd Pletcher, but from a very good trainer in Kellen Gorder, she's a little slow.
Well, I got excited for Hightailing because her damn good in the slop. Definitely has a pedigree to move up on this surface.
But she ran a sloppy sealed track, and she improved on a dry track. She didn't get buried by Dunbar Road, a very impressive winner earlier on the card.
Triumphant for Mark Hennig.
She would have to improve.
Now, Safta, don't you think is a little chilly on the board? Current second choice for Dermot Magner.
She's about as dead on the board as I've ever seen a horse because on paper she's supposed to be 4 to 5.
Now, Smooth with a Kick. I know you like this one. So does the public.
Yeah, I mean, she's likely to be second choice by post time. She actually she got left in her debut, and last time out, she had a very wide trip and made the first move in a race that fell apart and lost a horse that really ran well. This is the day she's supposed to run well. I'm very surprised, though, at all things considered. Why is the 6 Safta, who's got 2 huge buyer figures, both of them fast races? One of them, speaking of Dunbar Road, she finished 5th in the stake as a maiden, where Dunbar Road finished 2nd. Is there like an email going around that she has no chance today? How is she 7 to 2, Maggie?
Andy, I didn't like her last time. Again, nobody likes her. I thought she was supposed to get the job done. She was soundly beaten last time. And I do think a little less distance probably helps her chances. She really wanted no chance of a 1 1/8. But then again, she's going to have to do it over a sloppy track here once again.
I think she's way the horse to beat, even though I picked the number 7 horse and don't understand why she's this big a price.
Now, let's get a gauge of where these two fillies stand. We've seen Safta run against her and hightailing. I'm talking about Dunbar Road, who ran very well in the Gulfstream Park Oaks. And she came back very nicely for Chad Brown, a prep for the Mother Goose.
Right. She was the first also eligible in the Kentucky Oaks and did not get in. And she was actually second choice in the morning line. And rather than forge ahead and run a race like the Black-Eyed Susan, Chad Brown decided to take a more conservative route. She's lightly raced in her third start, fine allowance race for her, and then move on to the Mother Goose and races like the Grade 1 Coaching Club and the Grade 1 Alabama at Saratoga. And I'll tell you what, Maggie, she could not have won more easily. I know she was a big favorite, but this was a very impressive win.
It really was. I mean, she won like she was supposed to. She was coming off a little bit of a break, so you would have to think that race even moves her forward now.
No, I agree. I think that she's a horse that will benefit from that race, and she figures to prove very possibly one of the top horses in the division going forward.
Yeah, that was a nice comeback against some older horses as well as number 6 Safta. We'll check out her last race. Now she's ranging up wide here against the eventual winner in Nonsensical.
Yeah, and she finishes second. And I understand, I don't like horses that are second at 75 cents the dollar. Having said that, she ran an 85 Beyer, and I am a firm believer in speed figures. And Beyer had the race fast. Timeform US had the race fast. Her race prior to that, beaten just a few lengths in that Grade 2 Gulfstream Park Oaks. Both of those races drown this field on speed figures. Now, speed figures are not the only part of the equation, but it's certainly good to know who the fastest horses are, and she has such a dramatic speed figure edge on her. I mean, based on speed figures, she's a good 8 to 10 lengths faster than everybody in this race. Doesn't mean she's going to win, but it doesn't mean that she's supposed to be a big price.
Absolutely. If you want to play the pick 3, make sure you sign up and use your NYRA Bets account. Now, as far as a pace scenario, I thought there were several horses to kind of go out in front, including the 3 and 5 here, and that you would have to think does help Safta's chances.
I agree. I mean, you've got Cairo Cutie and Triumphant, who both would have to improve immeasurably to be competitive here, and they look like two forwardly placed horses, and horses like Safta and the 7 Smooth with a kick should be sitting in a comfortable spot behind them. Now, the track is sealed. We just got rain. For all we know, it'll change. But one thing we've seen here over time, when these tracks have been sealed and we get this rain, the tracks still end up playing very fairly.
They do. It's more when they kind of dry out is when we find some more speed favoring type
Sometimes
of tracks.
the inside will get very good. You're right. After rain and they're drying out and the inside gets good. Don't think it's the case. And, you know, what's interesting is you'll probably see the riders steer away from the rail, but we've seen a lot of sloppy or wet tracks so far this year, Maggie, where horses have run very well on the inside. So it's sometimes the riders just stay away because they don't want to be the jerk that sucks down on the bad rail, but often the rail's good, right? You know?
Yeah, no. And you can see they've had a tight seal on this track prior to this rainstorm we've had. So you can see there's tire tracks. A lot of time riders will steer their horses towards those tire tracks. So we are seeing horses loading in. Now, Andy went to number 7, Smooth with a Kick, has every opportunity to improve here. Javier Castellano.
Who do you like? Who do you like?
Two I liked.
Okay.
I thought hightailing could move forward here with the blinkers on.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Rosina does here. I just think she's an interesting player. She's such an unknown.
2 back, it was a taxing trip, but then she ran horribly. So we'll see what Larry Collmus has in store for us. The voice of the Triple Crown and the Breeders' Cup has call of race number 7 at Belmont Park.
Last one going in here is Smooth with a Kick, and they're all in line. They're off. Safta, Smooth with a Kick, both started well from the outside. And Rosina and Cairo Cutie are coming through on the inside, along with Triumphant to battle for the front. And then it's Cairo Queen and Hightailing. Up the backstretch they go. Triumphant the leader. Safta is second on the outside. Smooth with a Kick is third and just in behind them. And then it's Cairo Queen at the rail, racing 2.5 lengths off the lead. A 22.54 sharp opening quarter mile. Rosina follows in 5th by another 2.5, then Cairo Cutie. And Hightailing is last, 9 lengths off of Triumphant and Jose Lezcano, who lead the field up the backstretch a 1/2 length. Safta second to the outside. And then comes Cairo Queen down toward the rail, Smooth with a Kick. Now takes third on the outside. After a 45.63 half, the pace is hot. It's 4 lengths more back to Rosina, Cairo Cutie, and Hightailing on the inside. Around the far turn, Triumphant is given away to Safta and Smooth with a Kick, and these two have moved away by 4. Cairo Queen is up running in 3rd position as they head around that far turn. Then it's Rosina 4th on the inside, followed by Cairo Cutie and Hightailing. But up top, Safta and Smooth with a Kick have opened up 8 lengths on their competition, and Safta has now moved away from Smooth with a Kick. 3/4 in 1, 10.85, and Safta comes splashing home at the 8th pole, 4 lengths in front. Smooth with a Kick is trying to last for second as Rosina has moved up on the outside. But it is Safta by the 16th pole, and she's got a 5-length lead on Rosina, who's now clearly second. Down to the line, it will be Jose Ortiz and Safta to win. Rosina finished well, but was second best under the line, and third is close between Smooth with a Kick and a late charging Cairo Cutie.
Safta drifted to favoritism at the spring of the latch, and she did not disappoint. She ran back to those speed figures, Andy.
And Jose Ortiz didn't want to take any chances with her.
Nope.
It ended up being a very fast pace, and you could see what a toll it took on the number 7, Smooth with a Kick, who probably ran better than her 4th place finish suggests. As you could see, the speed was falling apart in the late stages, even Safta, but this was a much the best victory. And you know, at the end of the day, Maggie, figs don't lie.
They don't lie. Oftentimes.
Big price on her, 7 to 5.
I know. Well, got the morning line hit right on the head as well done, David Aragona. Jose Ortiz picks up his 2nd win of the day for trainer Dermot Magner and Nice Guys Stable. Well, we owe you some Churchill prices from race number 3 as they are coming up soon here.
I'm just so upset about we didn't get that Frank Lyons-Dale Romans interview.
I know.
That would have been like the highlight
Pat
of
Daddy.
our shows.
Pat Daddy with Norm McKnight got his 4th win in a row. This 7-year-old gelding by Scat Daddy, and always good to see Channing Hill in the winner's circle as Frank Lyons caught up with him.
Here with Channing Hill, winner of the 4th race board, Pat Daddy. This horse you were born for the first time, he's got a lot of heart.
Oh, he's obviously a cool horse. Any horse that can win 4 races in a row,
yeah.
You know, he's, you know, they got to be a special little horse. You know, it looks like his only real missteps have been on the poly.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know, he come out today, improved it today, settled nice down the backside, absolutely sprinted home.
So he showed more speed today than he usually would.
I don't think he showed more speed. I just didn't think there was as much speed in the race.
Sure,
you know,
right.
I mean, he was sitting okay. He was sitting pretty close at Oaklawn there. You know, they were a bit notoriously faster than this race was. Today, yeah. You know, with the outside horse breaking a little slow, you know, he just kind of got the jump. And then once he cruised from there, obviously, we couldn't give up our position.
You know, he's 6 for 6 on dirt. He's undefeated on dirt.
I know, it's unbelievable, right? Yeah. I mean, he absolutely must just love it.
Yeah.
I mean, he got over this track, and it's probably not, I mean, obviously it's good, but, I mean, he looks like he runs on any sort of dirt track, too.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Channing Hill aboard Pat Daddy in the 4th race at Churchill.
Thank you, Frank. As he pointed out, 6 for 6 on the main track.
He didn't get Dale Romans, but Dale Romans' son, Jake, is Channing Hill's agent. So there was a little connection there. 6 for 6 in the dirt. Very clever by other connections, right? The worst 25 times in synthetic.
Quite a pedigree, too. Scat Daddy, Empire Maker mare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See that a lot.
Exactly.
Won't see it much more either.
No, Maiden Claimant coming up next in Churchill. Race number 4. We'll have that coming up for you as the 7th here at Belmont is official. We see Safta making her way into the winner's circle. Now, anybody ever tell you that you bet a gray on a rainy day? Well, that's exactly what Smokin' Platinum's going to try to do as he makes his 2019 debut for Charlie Baker. Joel Rosario in the irons. We'll see if he can get the job done here in the 8th.
Runhappy was the fastest 3-year-old sprinter of his generation.
Runhappy is stamping his horses. And they all got great necks, great hind legs. They all got a good walk, and this colt moves very, very well. Very smart. He hasn't turned a hair since we had him. First day we turned him out, he was very, very gentle in his paddock and did everything right. He's got an exceptional pedigree.
Runhappy standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, The best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe. Now his much-anticipated first crop arrives in 2019. Mastery, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Coming on strong. Coming home.
Here's Minute to Stardom, making her papa proud. The Star Guitar Filly.
Coming on.
Testing, 1, 2. The Star Guitar Filly leads Champagne Diva close to home. It's testing, 1, 2. On the wire with by the Star Photo Finish.
My love for you. Coming on strong.
Welcome back. You're watching America's Day at the Races. As always, we're brought to you by Claiborne Farm, doing the usual unusually well, like breeding some really nice horses as they stand Runhappy, as well as Warfront, splashing through the mud in today's 7th race. That was Safta, coloring those hot pink and black silks of Nice Guy Stable. She returns 480 as the post-time favorite. Rosina, promising stateside debut.
Yeah, she was picking up pieces. The race was falling apart a bit late, but she did run fine in this race, and she showed she belonged.
Coming up in today's 8th race at Belmont, it is a New York bred, other than couple of scratches in there. So we see Elios Milos out again. Cadence Courage ran the off the turf first race this past Monday, and 8-5 on Smokin' Platinum as he returns.
Smokin' Platinum is just a horse who seems to me he's had a lot of chances at short prices and just keeps failing to get it done. He obviously is good enough to win. I won't be surprised when he runs well, but to me he's just been disappointing overall.
We'll get to Show Prince as well. He had an interesting trip last time. But race number 4 at Churchill's, what's coming up next? As Country House affixed to the top of the paddock there, your 2019 Kentucky Derby winner, as we have a maiden claimer on tap for you for the fillies and mares going the 6 furlongs. We'll scratch number 1 in here, as well as the outside 2 horses. We'll begin our post parade with number 2. That is Katie's Bell's second career start for trainer Matt Cordenbrock and Chantel Sutherland.
Very impressive job with that pronunciation, Maggie. I'm very impressed. Would have to improve off of her debut.
Speaking of white-hot trainers, number 3, Bling Springsteen for Eddie Keneally. He's winning everything down there when he teams up with Corey Lannery.
And he is my choice in this race. A little bit of a drop second start and should be the speed.
Absolutely. Number 4 is Ella Brown. Brian Hernandez gets the leg up from Michael Tomlinson.
Not impossible in this race, but has had more chances than most.
First-time starters, number 5, Tim Gleishaw sends this one out.
First foal from this dam from the Sky Mesa.
Another first-time starter from Sky Mesa is number 6, Blue Sky and Dixie for Norm Cassie.
And Norm Cassie setting this one out. Dixie Babe, the dam, ran for Chad Brown, ran a 68 and a 77 buyer in her debut. Second foal from this dam.
Anima Buff Bradley will send out this one with Jack Gilligan aboard.
Feels like a long shot.
Yep, does take a drop in class, though. Yeah. As number 8 is Our Petunia, trainer change, and first time on the main track with blinkers on for Joan Scott.
She's getting a lot of money right now. You wonder if there's a little bit of tip on this one.
Jimmy Graham will ride that one. Another first-time starter is in post 8, number 9, though, Leesburg Lady for Greg Foley.
You know, you look at this, 4 of the 5, first 4 foals, this is the 5th foal, actually could all run. This horse has got some pedigree to run a little bit.
And we were talking about Birdstone earlier, very proficient dirt sprinting family, as we will check in with Frank Lyons. Always good to see hear what he thinks about these maidens.
Well, I'll tell you what I think about these maidens. They're not a bad-looking bunch of maidens, and I think the 3-horse, Bling Springsteen, is about the best looking. She ran for maiden 40 first time out, went off at 9-1, showed some speed, got a little tired. finished 6th of beating 7 lengths. Second place finisher there was a filly called Miss Hannah. She came right back to win in the race. I think that was a pretty good race, and I'll give her the nod here. But maybe we ought to take a look at this number 8 here, Our Petunia. She looked good coming into the ring. And, you know, like, she's been bet from 12-1 to 7-2 right now. That's not just kind of telling the grooms we like it. You know, someone likes this horse today. So keep an eye on the 8 horse, Miss Petunia. But also, then, I kind of like the 6 horse, Big Blue Sky and Dixie, daughter of Sky Mesa, trained by Norm Cass. Wins at 12% first time out. And this filly's got a lot of work. She's been working down at Palm Meadows and now up at Churchill Downs. 3-year-old making her debut. Also then here the 7, Anima. She's daughter of First Samurai, out of a good mare that Claiborne bred this filly. She cost 110,000. 3 maiden special weight starts. Now she drops in for 30,000. So, you know, like, I see a lot of ways to go. Also, the 4 looked very good when she came in the paddock. I'm going to give you half the field here. But I will go for the 3 Black Springsteen over the 6 Blue Sky and a box exact.
Well, at least he narrowed it down.
Half
well, at
the
least
field.
he narrowed it down to an exacta.
Half of what? Half of 8? I think he gave a 6.
Frank, thank you for
narrowing
that.
it down.
You know, Our Petunia, when you look at her pedigree, Andy, it is more of a dirt pedigree anyway, as she debuted going the 5 on the turf in a maiden special weight at Tampa to honor and serve out of a city zit mare.
I agree, and I don't want to run the honor and serves in the dirt on the turf. He hasn't been obviously a terrific sire in general. $1,700 as a yearling purchase, that doesn't scare you a little, Mag? Scared me.
Yeah, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I think
I could have bought that one.
You know, well, then again, you know, you can buy something cheap and it turns into something okay.
Yeah.
But yes, I thought of the first-time starters, the pedigree that I wanted the most was number 9, Leesburg Lady.
I'm totally with you, Maggie. And that horse has taken some nibbles going down to 7-1. But I agree. I like the fact none of them are killers in the family, but you're not going to need to be particularly good to win this race. But all 4 of the foals could run.
Exactly. Now, I mean, I thought that, yes, the 6, Blue Sky and Dixie, came from a good dirt sprinting family, so at least you have that in there with her as well. But definitely Bling Springsteen is the horse to beat in here. This gray filly by Jersey Town. It's just, you're kind of betting a little bit and banking on connections, but furthermore, she did run a speed figure that fits nicely with the rest of the horses who have run in here.
Yeah, and I like second-time starters that showed speed in their debuts, kind of got run on the ground in that race. Very often they run much better, but there also are a number of first-time starters in here, and you don't know any number of them could have speed and get in this horse's way.
All right, they're making their way to the gate there to go the 6 furlongs, having much better weather than we are here at Belmont, down there at Churchill, as we see the tractors going by to float the racetrack here at Belmont, but they are good at Churchill. They had the rain that we're getting now move through there earlier today. Now, what about number 2, Katie's Bell? Did you give any interest in this long shot? I just thought that Chantel Sutherland was riding very well at this Churchill meet.
I didn't see it. She didn't do any running in her debut. Now, she took a little money at 13-1, but she did no running. Listen, horses can dramatically improve, as you well know, from one start to the next, but I saw nothing in that race to like her.
Now, they do get some scratches here on the outside. I thought Lilith was an interesting drop down, but she won't play today. And, I mean, Ella Brown, what do you do with her, Andy?
Too many chances for me.
Yeah.
I just always want horses with less chances. But once again, she's run some races that would make her hardly a surprise in this spot.
Right. She has some speed figures that stack up, especially on the main track. Second start back off that bit of a layoff here on the main track. Moving to Churchill, where she has a 3rd place effort way back when, as we will throw it out to Travis Stone for the call of today's 4th at Churchill Downs.
Leesburg Lady, last one. They're in the gate. And they're off, and a bad stumble at the start for Anima. Off to the back of the pack. Katie's Bell, that inside post breaks well. Bling Springsteen splits rivals, comes up on through. Ella Brown's right there as well. And Blue Sky and Dixie on the far outside advances too. And then it's Our Petunia coming away 5th and on the far outside. Nature's Bounty 6th and at the rail. 2 lengths back to Leesburg. Lady Anima, after that stumbling beginning, moves up out of last to within 8 lengths of the lead. And the leader is Katie's Bell. The opening quarter, fast 21 and 3/5 seconds. Half length in front round the far turn. Bling Springsteen is right there. And Blue Sky and Dixie hovering to the outside in third. Those 3 across the track round the far turn. Ella Brown starting to wind up from 4th, and Nature's Bounty finds a seam, comes up on through 5th within 5 lengths of the lead. So they're off the turn, and they're into the stretch. Blue Sky and Dixie on the far outside, rallies, puts in a bold run and takes charge. Giving way is Katie's Bell and Bling Springsteen. Nature's Bounty trying to get going late, but meanwhile, Blue Sky and Dixie has kicked clear by 3. Anima trying to come on late despite that slow start. Katie's Bell boxes on toward the rail, but Blue Sky and Dixie ripped away from them all. Scores by 4. Katie's Bell re-rallied down inside to be 2nd. Bling Springsteen rallied to be 3rd, and Anima was 4th.
Extremely professional debut winner for Norm Cassie and Blue Sky and Dixie with Ricardo Santana in the irons.
Absolutely, was ready. Got in good position and got the job done easily. And I'm going to tell you something. A Frank Lyons Norm Cassie interview is going to be one that you do not want to miss.
Absolutely.
Do not turn the channel.
Yes. Norm may have more to say than Frank, I would imagine.
Well, they could definitely battle each other out.
Could.
This was one of the 5 or 6 that Frank liked, by the way, so he can take credit for picking the winner as well.
Yes. By 2, the long shot, Katie's Bell, hanging in there for 2nd as we see Anima take a pretty bad stumble there at the break. Luckily didn't go down to her nose, but Jack Gilligan, well sat, he's got those long legs to keep him up in the irons.
Yeah, obviously no chance really after that. Tough stumble to overcome.
Yes, absolutely. And no excuse, though, for the favorite in Bling Springsteen.
No, not at all. It was between horses and uncomfortable in there, but, the pace completely held together and finished 3rd. Bling Springsteen, this was the chance for that horse. Good horse to bet against going forward.
Absolutely, as we'll turn our attention to Rainy Belmont as race number 8. They are getting ready in the paddock. 6 furlongs on the main track here. The A other than for the New York breds. Number 2, Smoke and Platinum. He'll be coming back to the races. He burned some money last year at short prices. He does get Joel Rosario aboard, who he was paired up with for his last win, which was back here in October.
Yeah, and this was a 2nd place finish in his last start. This was 2nd place finish, I think.
At Aqueduct,
right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And listen, he can win this race. But look at his start. 2nd at 3-1, 4th at 7-2, 3rd at 7-5, wins at 3-5, loses at 3-5, loses at 3-1. He's a horse that looked very promising when he first started at Saratoga. He ran that huge race behind the very talented Avino Molcano.
And beating long. Yeah.
He's just never really come to the promise. He can absolutely win. He's good enough to beat this field, but I just don't like horses who've had so many chances and keep failing it to get it done at relatively short prices, Maggie.
Now, the thing in his favor, though, is that he's run his best races when fresh. First time out. And first off the layoff.
Good point. And he also handles a wet track. Nothing against him. We'll see.
Now taking some money here is Steam Engine, another horse coming back off a layoff. He is fast.
He's probably working very well for this race, but I don't see it. Brad Cox, that's a very rare situation that he just is 0 for 11 off a win, off a layoff. And Steam Engine took advantage of a very strong rail to get the job done last time, and he was fortunate to do it. Hot Diggity and even Show Prince, who's in today, who we both are interested in, arguably ran better races.
And talking about burning money, he was the beaten favorite twice before breaking his maiden, as number 5 is Show Prince. Last time out, Andy, there was this long delay at the gate. They had a horse drop the rider behind there. They were all loaded. They had to take them all out and reload them. And then you had the drama at the start.
Yeah, no, and he just, the horse inside of him, they came out, and he broke a step slow, Show Prince. He got completely squeezed out, and then a horse next to him lost the rider, and he was completely out of the race, a good 6+ lengths behind. And he actually made a big move up into the field and got very close to the pace for understandably tiring. And the fact that he lost by 9 lengths, given the dynamics in a fast race, he ran a very fast race. I like this horse. I don't know if he'll handle a wet track, but he broke his maiden in a sloppy sealed track.
Yes, he did, and he also finished behind Funny Guy, who returned to win the Stallion Series race, as well as finishing second in the Mike Lee here on Monday. Well, it's a good showdown between these New York breds coming up. We'll see if Smokin' Platinum fires his best shot once again off the bench. Stay tuned. You're watching America's Day at the Races.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
This graded stakes winner and multiple Grade 1 performer by Tappet has become one of the nation's leading sires of 2-year-olds. Ranked number 1 in his crop by number of winners, he sired 11 stakes horses in 2017, including graded stakes winners Wild Shot and Oklahoma Derby winner Untrapped. At the sales, his yearlings have sold up to $480,000. Trap Shot, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Want a shot at winning $1 million? Who wouldn't? Here's your chance, the new Stay Lucky app from America's Best Racing. First, you've got to download it. It's available on Android and iPhone. Now that you've got it downloaded, just click on the app and set up your account. Once you're logged in, click on this quick tutorial on how to play. Now, you're just about ready to start picking some winners and building a streak. But before you do, a little help for you from some pros. Each week, the best races in the country are loaded onto Stay Lucky. All you gotta do is click Make a Pick, and you've got a fresh menu of races to sort through. You can pick one horse for as many races as you like. The more you play, the faster your streak will grow. As you start stringing together winners, you'll start racking up prizes. Get to that 20 win mark, you're gonna win $1 million. And with the Stay Lucky app, you're always just a click away from everything that's on americasbestracing.net. So, what are you waiting for? Download it, start picking winners, and stay lucky.
We're back on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2, MSG Plus, and Fox Sports Prime Ticket. It's brought to you in part by America's Best Racing, the go-to site covering the sport and lifestyle. Visit americasbestracing.net today. Good to be with you on this Thursday twilight card. Greg Wolf, 4-time Major League All-Star, Paul LoDuca, and Chad Summers of Mind Your Biscuits fame joining us here on set. Good to see you guys. We still have race 8, our feature race, to come as the rains are coming down pretty heavy now.
Yeah, it's really starting to come down now. We got a couple of scratches. Now the last race has been taken off the turf. Big favorite in that race. Andretta is gone. So deluge of rain here. But I think Smokin' Platinum in the 2 is your favorite at even money right now, Chad. And I think the horse to beat still.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big scratch in this race as well. Leos Mios scratching out was huge. Huge scratch.
Yeah.
A win in the second, first 2 starts. We're not going to give him a post parade. We're going right to the gate here. But I think Smokin' Platinum, there's a lot of speed in the race. Going to set up well for him and Joel Rosario.
Yeah, when you look at this field, the 5 Show Prince is probably the only one that's passed other horses. The 1, the 3, and the 7 all got a lot of gate speed.
All right, even money on Smokin' Platinum, as you heard. Yeah, with the weather, they are not messing around here. Going to go straight to the gate here, just about, on what is now the sloppy sealed racetrack. That last race was scheduled for turf. It has now come off. But here in this spot, Smokin' Platinum, the 2, one to beat out that maiden breaking win back in October at Belmont. And a short price here coming back. So it's who handles the slop and who handles these conditions here in this race coming up.
I say it's a gray and a slop, right?
Always put the gray in the rainy day?
Is that not the easiest way to go?
Yes.
And you might be able to hear some of that thunder in the background. So what about outside with Oh My Papa and being able to assert that speed outside?
Well, I mean, last race, this colt broke dead last on a sloppy racetrack, then rushed up. So with a better break, is this the horse to catch? But then you look at Steam Engine, the 3, he's pretty fast too.
Steam Engine's so quick out of the gate. His first step, he's in front. Every time he runs, he's been so quick out of the gate. Foolish Ghost, another one with really good early gate speed. But
that's the rail horse.
He's a tough horse to ride. Foolish Ghost, he had a broken jaw when he was a yearling. So he's a tough horse to ride. I used to train him back when he was a 2-year-old. And Manny Franco's going to have his work cut out of the gate. He needs to send him and get aggressive. But if you get into his mouth too much, he's going to fall apart. So you got to stay out of his way.
So the 1, the 3, the 7, looks like they all could go at each other in here. Should be a hot pace duel up front, and it could set it up perfectly for the 2 Smokin' Platinum, who is our 7-5 favorite here in this 8th coming up at Belmont Park. Abbreviated warm-up and post-parade here as we're going straight to the gate with this weather coming in. We're going to send it upstairs for the call to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown, Larry Collmus. Take it away from race 8 at Belmont.
Steam Engine has moved into the starting gate, and here is Show Prince. And the last one to load will be Oh My Papa, who's just arriving at the gate right now. 7-5 on Smokin' Platinum, the current favorite. On the tote board is Oh My Papa, and Junior Alvarado will now take their position in the outside stall in this rainy, dark conditions here at Belmont, and they're all in line. They're off. Foolish Ghost on the inside out for the lead. Show Prince came out with early foot as well. Steam Engine off the pace here and racing in third on the inside of Oh My Papa. Smokin' Platinum running at the back of the field early on. 5 lengths off the lead as Foolish Ghost and Manny Franco take them into the turn in front. With Show Prince on the outside running in second. Oh My Papa is outside of Steam Engine, who's down toward the rail. 3 lengths off the lead. 22.53 the opening quarter mile. Joel Rosario and Smokin' Platinum are trailing the field here, and they're racing about 5 lengths from the front as they make their way around the far turn. It is Foolish Ghost in front. Show Prince prompting the pace on the outside second. Steam Engine is third. Oh My Papa's on the far outside, while Smokin' Platinum will ride the rail to the top of the stretch and has closed the gap now to 2 lengths as they arrive at the 8th pole. Show Prince on the outside of Foolish Ghost. Smokin' Platinum driving through at the rail. Oh My Papa driving on the far outside. Show Prince in front close to home. Smokin' Platinum's on the inside. On the far outside, Oh My Papa and Foolish Ghost, and they're coming down to the line. And it is Show Prince to win it by 2. And there was Smokin' Platinum, Oh My Papa and Foolish Ghost.
Show Prince give him the win money here in race 8 as he collects the 2nd win of his career. Son, a posse for Gary Siaka.
You know, posses, they love the slop. I can tell you that firsthand. Obviously, we won the $2 million race in the slop. But this horse was a good horse. You look back 2 starts back, he ran 4th, just beating 2.5 lengths to Blind Willie McTell, who came back and won the Mike Lee. This is a horse who has a promising future in a tough New York-bred 3-year-old conditions.
This was a good race. I mean, took the overland around. Joel Rosario decided to go inside, but starting to think of Smokin' Platinum, you're starting to see the same movie each time. Second place, second place, second place. Always makes that move and has that high-headed action. I'll tell you what, if you're live in this NYRA Late Pick 5, you've gotten some prices home.
Beating an even money favorite here, 7-1 start, 6-1. In the second leg, it has been very nice. And Shad brought up Blind Willie McTell, who this horse faced a couple starts back. That horse looks like he might have a future for Linda Rice, winner of the Mike Lee.
Yeah.
But nice effort from Show Prince, gets the job done. Smokin' Platinum. Joel Rosario trying to move up the rail and can manage no better here than second. 5-2-7-1. Eric Consell aboard for Gary Siaka, owned by Eric Meyer. And 5-1 here with Show Prince here in the 8th at Belmont. We still got one more to come and plenty more coming up from Churchill Downs on this sloppy going here on a Thursday night in Elmont, New York. Meanwhile, back in Louisville. As you see the gallop out there from Show Prince, loving this off track. Blue Sky and Dixie with the victory back in race 4. First time out for Norm Cassie, daughter of Sky Mesa with the win. Ricardo Santana Jr. aboard for the victory. Let's go to Frank Lyons.
Standing here with Norm Cassie, who sent out Blue Sky and Dixie, first time starter to win the 4th race. Was that kind of a surprise?
A little bit, Frank. She hasn't really shown too much in the morning. We finally flirted with putting blinkers on her, worked her a few times aggressively out of the gate, and she finally showed a little bit of talent. And, you know, we aggressively spotted her today, and we had her amongst her friends, and thankfully we come away with the W today.
Yeah, and thankfully you didn't lose her.
Yeah, exactly. So now we have, you know, she'll build on this. We've got some options with her now going forward, and I'm just happy for Mr. Vester, we rewarded his confidence today.
Yeah, he also bred the horse, and so I'm sure he was a little nervous.
Yeah, he was nervous, but he's a really nice man, and he's been one of my first supporters, and I'm just, you know, I'm happy we took care of him today.
Well, I hope you send them all out looking like that, because she looked unbelievable.
She looked great today, Frank. I thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, guys. Norm Cassie.
And I don't know if Norm or the rest of his family, of course, his dad won the Preakness with Warwell, ever going to take that Preakness shirt off.
Yeah, right?
Why would you?
Yeah, Philly by Sky and Mesa. And here's the thing. Norm had worked her out on the turf in the beginning of our workouts, but dirt has definitely paid off, and they found the right level for a good job of training.
Off the turf at Churchill as well. In this 5th race, it was originally scheduled for the grass, now main track, condition $30,000 claiming race. Shakes Creek right now is favorite equipment change, blinkers on for Brad Cox.
I think the one to beat. I understand now taking off the turf. This horse ran a bang-up race last time. When you look at some of the other races, the 4 is not way off here, and that's why you're seeing a horse from 30-1 to 5-1.
But I think also pace makes the race, and Zeke might be lone speed in here.
Yeah.
Zeke from the inside showed speed last time out at Churchill before fading to 2nd. As we're back here in the winner's circle at Belmont, Show Prince, Gary Siaka, Eric Hansel, and 5-1.
Yeah, congratulations, son of Posse. Has a straight man mare, Straight Blues, New York bred here for Eric Meyer, owner and breeder, and Gary Siaka, like you were saying. This horse likes the racetrack now, 3 for 3 over it. And this is what we were talking about. I get it that Safta was probably singled, but really not, because I think a lot of people were tepid. You know, she was 4-1 to all the way down to the end. And C now plays big to start this.
And for once, you don't have to sweat it out. We're off the turf, all button.
Yeah, all button.
In race
You're right.
race
Chad
time.
makes a great point, because they took the race off the turf around the 6th race. So you don't even have to worry about it. 5 out of 6 in the pick 6. Nobody's hitting his 235, and we'll get you the pick 5 Will Pays here in a second.
Now this last race, so a New York bred $40,000 maiden claiming event. Obviously a bunch of changes here with the surface switch now. Tracy's Girl. Blinkers going on. Charlie Baker, Joel Rosario just finished 2nd in the last race. 8-5 favorite right now with some speed inside, and now might get more speed with those blinkers.
And they know that's a daughter of Posse, right? Let's just go with the Posse angle. But she looks like she'll be in front, but I think you have to take the main track only seriously here. They kept this race on the turf until the 7th race, and yet the 2 main track onlys, the 3 to Nuzzo and the 11 Scarlet's Command, both stayed in, hoping it came off. They might be rewarded here for their efforts.
$955 if you have the all button, or if you have any horse. It doesn't matter who crosses the line if you're alive in this pick 5.
We're going to take a break. We'll have the nightcap from Belmont when we come back, and much more from Churchill Downs. Stay with us on America's Day at the Races.
There's a power so selfless. It has the ability to heal, to inspire, to unite, to change your life.
Whether you have Derby dreams or Midsummer Derby dreams, this is Tom Durkin to tell you a registered New York bred can take you there.
Diversify!
That New York bred Exact and the Whitney by multimillionaires Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits shows the kind of quality that allowed New York breds to earn more than $93 million on the world stage last year. On-track successes have spurred New York bred sales results. At the March OBS sale, Chestertown sold for $2 million. And this New York bred 2018 yearling brought $1 million at Saratoga. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearling manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So first we have a colt out of Rapid Repair. He's a really nice colt. Very happy with how he's come along as a yearling. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include Cutting Humor, winner of the Grade 3 Sunland Park Derby, plus 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, and international star Shamal Nibras. This year, his 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $310,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
We're back on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2 and MSG Plus and Fox Sports Prime Ticket. Brought to you in part by Runhappy, the champion sprinter. Never lost in his career while sprinting. Now standing at stud at Claiborne Farm for $25,000. Raced his entire career medication-free. We are left with 6 runners in this 5th race from Churchill Downs, taken off the turf. And now on the main track, this condition-claiming race, our post-parade here coming up. Get a look at this entire field. We'll start with Zeke. Chad, you mentioned you're going to see some speed from this horse early on.
And he enters it off arguably the best last dirt race. I know it was for 16 last time, but same tactics here. It might be tough.
King Valero, 14-1.
Yeah, this horse is actually 1 for 20 the last 2 years, but the last 2 races have been his best, so he might be rounding into form.
Love Your Buttons actually had a maiden-breaking win at Aqueduct in New York last year.
Yeah, and he ran well in that Churchill debut. He owns a dirt win in the past. It'll be interesting to see if that last race is a step in the right direction or an exception to how he's been running.
Here's Bema's Boy.
Yeah, another horse in here that was 30-1 in the morning line, gets helped off by just getting taken off the turf, 6-1.
And 6-5 on Shakes Creek. He could show speed as well. Blinkers on for Brad Cox.
Shakes Creek looks really, really good on the track right now. Well spotted by Brad Cox, finally running at Churchill.
And 4-1 on Patrol, son of Street Sense for Thomas Vance.
I'm surprised that this horse is 4-1. Look at those dirt races when the track was fast. They win this race, 90-90 Buyer. The blinkers go on. You just throw one sloppy racetrack and the turf out. I thought the 6 was the horse to beat.
We're getting close. 3 minutes to post here in race 5. Let's check back in with Frank Lyons.
Okay, guys, so I think the 3 horse looks pretty good in this race. Love Your Buttons. He finished 3rd last time out on the grass. This race has been like broken down by scratches. The outside 6 horses are scratched, so we're just down to a field of 6. But the horse, he comes from well off the pace. I'm not sure if that's going to really suit him or go against him in this race. But I will give you a price horse. That's the 4 horse. Bema's Boy. This horse 30-1 in the morning line. Obviously, he's a lot lower now. He's 14-1 right now. But, oh no, he's not 14-1. He's 6-1. And I think that this horse ran against Local Hero. Remember that horse, Steve Asmussen's by Hard Spun? He was on the Derby Trail, won at the Fairgrounds by 11 first time out, and he ran in all those Derby trial races. He ran against Higher Power. Horse that's now with John Sadler, was with Mike Stidham, ran in the Gold Cup the other day. I think that Bema's Boy, even though he was 30-1 in the morning line, now that it's on the main track, I think he's got a big chance.
Frank, thank you. So maybe 6-1 shot to keep your eyes on in the 4. Bema's Boy. And could set up nicely for him. Looks like at least a couple of horses that want to duel it out on the front end.
I mean, that's the big thing really with Bema's Boy is there enough speed, though? I mean, we know Zeke's going, and some of the others have been close in slower races. Bema's Boy needs pace to close into. He has run some good races of late against tougher competition, but they need to go fast enough early. I don't know that they do that.
Yeah, it's true. Him and Love Your Buttons seems like they've lost that speed, right? Love Your Buttons has gait issues. That's his issues. He just doesn't get out of there. But when you look at the one Zeke and you see that 110 flat for 6 furlongs, like, there's no one in here that can go that fast besides the 5, Shakes Creek. And Shakes Creek did that over an Ellis Park turf course, not over dirt. So that worries you a little bit whether the 1 is going to get away from this group.
And at least, you know, ran over this surface, talking about the 1 Zeke, so showed some ability here on this Churchill Downs strip. So we'll see. But, you know, you talked about the outside runner, Paul, on Patrol.
I mean, she runs a couple. Yeah, he runs that one race. First time blinkers, doesn't he win by a pole? It's not a horse that's touched this.
It's never that easy, is it?
No, it isn't, but those races are darn good. Then you throw in maybe over his head a tiny bit then a sloppy racetrack. Then they tried turf. He didn't disgrace himself on the Churchill Downs turf course. He went to the front end, slowed it down. They came home pretty fast. It was okay, but he's just a better dirt horse.
I think it's interesting, too. This horse was originally in the Shug McGahee barn. They gave up on this horse very, very quickly. The end of his 3-year-old year. That's not something you often see from that Shug McGahee barn that goes on and does good things. Yeah, he runs the 2 good races at Oaklawn, but is he now regressing back to what the Shug McGahee camp kind of thought of him in the first place?
Yeah, maybe he reached, I mean, he ran a couple of big numbers, certainly at Oaklawn. One against entry-level allowance company. Another against 40 non-winners of 2, put up a couple 90 buyer speed figures. So we will see. Obviously, his dad did some good things at Churchill Downs, son of Street Sense.
Yes. It is true, right? Oh, this race is really tough. The 3 is getting bet. Wow.
I think the other thing, too, you mentioned before, Greg, about Shakes Creek adding the blinkers. Brad Cox has done a really good job of spotting this horse around the country, Ellis Park, Fairgrounds, Indiana last time. Maybe adding the blinkers is going to give him that little bit of extra zip, but he's a small horse compared to Zeke. He needs to really try every step of the way. If he's going to make the lead, can he keep going on? That's going to be the question.
Well, there he is. Florent Giroux in those purple and gold silks of Rupp Racing. So the equipment change on, and this will be his first time, too, on the surface at Churchill Downs, so we'll see how Shakes Creek takes to it. He started out at Ellis. He was on the turf a couple times at Fairgrounds and then dirt at Indiana.
And the owner, by the way, Rupp Racing, they have 3 horses. One of them is Owendale. So we keep maybe that Preakness theme going today, right? We had Norm Cassie win the last race. Maybe the owners of Owendale, who was 3rd in the Preakness, can keep the Preakness trend going.
Yeah, just decided to pass on the Belmont Stakes.
Well, he was a good 3rd in the Preakness. He had just won the Lexington, so he was quick coming back sort of the Preakness a little bit, but he's a horse that you're going to start looking for. I think as a 3-year-old, that could be surprising towards later in the year.
Yeah, summer's going to be a lot of fun with this 3-year-old picture.
Well, I think that's the thing, too. He might go to the Ohio Derby, and all of a sudden, you're going to see all these Derby winners getting together, and the Travers might be one heck of a show 100%. Come the last weekend in August.
You make a great point there, because it could be so scattered. Horses are going to be going to the West Virginia Derby, Ohio Derby, all these other derbies that could really start sorting out the division, We still got a big race coming up here pretty soon.
Yeah, we do. That 3rd and final leg of the Triple Crown. Preakness winner War of Will going to be back in action here, contesting all 3 legs of the Triple Crown. And a win in this race at the Belmont would make him the leader in the clubhouse in the 3-year-old division for an Eclipse Award. We're going to send it out to Travis Stone. The call, race 5 from Churchill Downs. Here we go.
Waiting for Bema's boy, Shakes Creek, and On Patrol. Last one will be On Patrol. They're in the gate. And they're off. Good start for On Patrol for that outside post. Bema's boys in a little bit tight after this start. It is off to the back of the pack, but On Patrol quickly out of there. Opens up to lead by 2 and races into the clubhouse. Turn in front. Zeke trying to come through toward the inside to be second in some traffic. King Valero is also there. Shakes Creek is wide. 4th, 3rd, and now 2nd, and moving up on the far outside. So it is On Patrol leading the way around the clubhouse. Turn leads by a precise length. King Valero backs off just a bit to be 2nd. Zeke is covered up inside, running along in 3rd. Shakes Creek is 4th. Love Your Buttons is 5th to the backstretch run. Bema's boys, the last of them all, 5 lengths behind with 5.5 furlongs to go. On Patrol shows the way, and Skitter's clear to lead by 2.5 with 5 furlongs to go. The opening quarter mile in 24 1/5 seconds. Shakes Creek moves up on the far outside, takes over 2nd, and is coming after that leader. Love Your Buttons is covered up inside, running along in 3rd. Zeke has moved outside, is 4th and moving up, going past King Valero, who's lost some ground. Bema's boys at the back of the pack, so around the far turn. On Patrol in front by a length with 3 furlongs to go. Shakes Creek shaken up in 2nd, asked to go now. Zeke is winding up with a 3-wide bid. Here comes Zeke on the far outside, 3 of them right across the track outside the quarter pole. Shakes Creek comes away with a narrow lead, but it was short-lived. Zeke on the outside rallies to the front. It's Zeke in front, 3/16 to go. On Patrol is battling on toward the rail. Shakes Creek smack dab between those two. These 3 still across the track with 1 furlong to go. Zeke wanders far, far outside. On patrol, Shakes Creek re-rallied down inside. Still these 300 yards to go. On patrol, short lead. Shakes Creek final surge. Zeke back into third. Here's the wire. On patrol won it. Hard-fought victory over Shakes Creek. Zeke was third. Love Your Buttons was fourth.
Well, that was an interesting stretch run. Credit Tyler Bays, though, aggressive early on and on patrol, somehow able to hang on.
I mean, Zeke is like 1 to 5 about right here. He looks like he's by all these horses. And Tyler's asking, actually, both horses are by Tyler right here, Chad. But the golden rail at Churchill sometimes.
And just wanders a little bit here with Gabriel Saez. All of a sudden, Zeke makes the lead, and all of a sudden he's, I don't know if I want to win today.
Got to say goodbye to those watching on MSG Plus. We're going to be back tomorrow on MSG Plus from 4 to 6 Eastern time. So we will see you then with Fox Sports 2 and Fox Sports Prime Ticket. We're sticking around, not going anywhere. So stick around with more racing. By the way, the 9th today at Belmont has been canceled. All right, so we're still here with Fox Sports 2 and Fox Sports Prime Ticket. It is on patrol. Did not expect to see this horse out in front, leading the way, but well done by Tyler Bays and able to hang on after he gets a duel here from Shakes Creek.
Yeah, was able to battle back. Shakes Creek was testing him the whole way, was by him, and so was Zeke the one, but good job by Tyler Bays, who's made the move to Churchill and made a pretty smooth move. He's gotten into some good barns. As you see the paddock here at Belmont. The last race has been canceled due to just a bad thunderstorm. It was only going to be a 3 or 4 horse field, so I think the stewards and everybody did the right thing, get everybody out of here. But we still got 3 more races to bring you from Churchill Downs. Excitement on the set here in the 3rd floor.
Yeah, we got plenty more coming up, so don't go anywhere. But yes, the final race at Belmont, so been canceled because of severe weather. But yeah, races 6, 7, 8 still to come on a twilight Thursday out in Louisville from Churchill Downs, and we'll have more with Frank Lyons coming up as well. But the 9th Belmont canceled, that one in the books. Plenty more coming up from Churchill Downs. Stick with us. We'll return on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2 and Fox Sports Prime Ticket next.
This is a colt by Runhappy out of Addison Run. We bred here at Moffra Hall. Well, he's a big, strong, good bone, big old hip on him. Moves really well. Has that kind of big cat-like walk when he just relaxes and gets rolling up and down the lane.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farms.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Warfront, a leading sire on all surfaces and all fronts. His recent Grade 1 winners include Omaha Beach, Homesman, Fog of War, Lancaster Bomber, and European champion U.S. Navy Flag, plus graded stakes winner War of Will, and these recent group and graded winners. Sire of the highest price yearling sold in North America in 2018, this son of Danzig continues to dominate both on the track and in the sales ring. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. You'll want to visit americasbestracing.net for the latest and greatest. Be sure and check it out. As we continue along with more live action from Churchill Downs, 5th race in the books, and it was on patrol into the winner's circle, trained by Thomas Vance, Windy Spa Racing Stable, and Tyler Bays jumping to the front here early.
Yeah, congratulations. You talked about Street Sense having so much success at Churchill, where his son does, and Maria's Monmare criminologist, now 3 for 13 lifetime, and will get the job done. That's a nice little double to start off your late pick 5 there, $74 for a couple bucks. The early pick 5, pretty good too. And about a little bit over $2,000. Give that $6.80 to the lady at the machine, okay? Or if you
a little bit more if you want to be generous.
Yeah.
On board for the winning ride, Tyler Bays. Frank Lyons caught up with him.
Welcome back to Churchill Downs. I'm here with Tyler Bays. Tyler, Churchill Downs. Me, you, Churchill Downs. What are we doing here?
I love it here.
Yeah, it's going well for you.
It's going great. I think I've won 10 races now. So,
yeah,
you know, just keep working hard and really, it's really grateful that these guys put me on these horses.
Sure.
You know, they don't know me. I mean, they've probably all seen me ride, but it's I'm taking every opportunity and running with it.
Well, you are one of the best front-running riders I know that sits in that room. And, you know, you did such a great job on this horse today. He was collared in the stretch. He got past and he came back. What was that, a little bit of heart that he showed?
He did. He dug in and run real game race, and it was a fun ride. You know, when they break out the gate like he did today, you just go.
And it's always fun when it's your first time to ride for the trainer.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ridden for him. He's a very nice gentleman.
Yeah.
You know, I've talked to him a few times in the mornings, and hopefully keep going.
Yeah. Well, Tyler Bays, a name you're going to be hearing a lot more of here at Churchill Downs.
Well, he's making an impact since going to Louisville, and you know, you keep getting wins like this in a tight one there. It just momentum builds upon itself.
And credit to his jockey agents too. Jose Santos Jr., son of Jose Santos, a young kid but an aggressive kid who really knows that Kentucky background so well, and it's really helped Tyler. He picked up the phone and Tyler came, and I think that was the right move for Tyler Bays. California racing not the same like it used to be.
Yeah, and Frank hit the nail on the head. He's such a good aggressive rider because he's so used to the California racing where it's go, go, go. A lot of East Coast and Midwest racing, it's not so much go, go, go.
Right.
And sometimes he's going to win a lot of races like he just won today by stealing it on the front end.
And the other jocks now have to take note of how Tyler rides, and they have to make the same adjustments.
Well, Tyler's going to be on board a long shot coming up in the next race. He'll be riding for another pretty good barn. Steve Asmussen on Saluna in here, but this horse showed some speed first time out. We'll see if he does again. That debut from that filly came at Ellis Park. We'll talk more about race 6 in a moment. Again, if you're just tuning in, Belmont Park had one race to go. The finale, it has been canceled because of extreme weather in the area. So the 9th canceled, and we're done at Belmont, but we have plenty more coming up from Churchill Downs. Race 6, 7, and 8 still to come here on America's Day at the Races. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
Good Samaritan, the last great son of Harlan's Holiday. A debut winner at Saratoga, followed by 14 consecutive graded stakes performances. A Grade 2 winner on dirt and turf.
Good Samaritan to the Breeders' Cup.
Good Samaritan has taken the lead and he's pulling away.
Out of the family of Sky Mesa, Bernstein, and Champion Outstandingly. The last great son of Harlan's Holiday is only at Windstar Farm.
Kentucky Derby winner Orb. On the track, his runners have scored on both dirt and turf, including multiple stakes winner Autumn Warrior, stakes performers Scrapper and Malocchio, and Sipacan Harbor, winner of the Grade 1 Spinaway Stakes at Saratoga. In the sales ring, his 2-year-olds have fetched prices up to $1.25 million and multiple yearlings up to $1 million. Classic winner, classic pedigree, Orb, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Tom Durkin letting you know New York breds start with an advantage. At the sales, buyers pay up to 7 figures, and there's over $2 million in stakes money limited to New York sired horses in the New York Stallion Stakes Series, like the Park Avenue for 3-year-old fillies.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
For fun and money. The winner's share generates an additional $55,000 from the New York Breeding Fund.
Funny Guy's gonna do it.
Funny Guys winning the Times Square division generates the same money. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
Our summer cruise is here at Spruce Lane Farm, and he's been a really intelligent horse since he got on the farm.
He's just got great balance and presence. He's got a really good mind, and he does everything that we like to do so far. The plans with this colt are probably to take him to Saratoga or to Keeneland Book 1 or 2. He fits those. We paid $250,000 for him, so he was an expensive horse, but that's where he belongs.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Well, we are a week and a day away from the third and final leg of the Triple Crown right here in Elmont, New York. The Test of the Champion, 1.5 miles of the Belmont Stakes. We have the Preakness winner, War of Will, who's going to be making his return here and try and take 2/3 of the Triple Crown, but we have a good field lining up, and I think a lot of people believe the horse to beat coming into this race is going to be the Wood Memorial winner, Tacitus, for Belmont.
Yeah, and it's almost getting to the point where everybody loves this horse so much that is it a foregone conclusion, because that's all you hear is Tacitus, 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 and I think everybody else looks in this field and I don't see anybody else but Tacitus, Tax, and War of Will. I really don't. I mean, nothing to anybody else, but you still have to beat War of Will. I'm sorry.
Well, if you want to know how to beat War of Will, watch this. This is Tacitus' work. I was here for this. This was over the weekend last Sunday. Jose Ortiz is aboard on the outside, and he's just cruising. I mean, clicking off 11.94, 11.94, 11.94. He ends up going a minute flat, gallops out 112 and change, 124 and change, 137. He's ready. Belmont has him exactly where he wants. I mean, this was as perfect a breeze as you can get. This is your last big breeze. You'll have one more kind of a maintenance work this weekend, but this is the last big one, and this is exactly what you want to see. As a trainer, you're going to sleep well at night going into the Belmont Stakes seeing this.
I want to thank our friends at XBTV for providing us this footage, and nothing like being able to sit out the middle leg of a Triple Crown, rest up, come back fresh, and then tackle a horse like War of Will is going to be in all 3 legs of the Triple Crown. You cannot overemphasize what that can take out of you when you run in all 3 legs of the Triple Crown.
No, you make a good point there, and he's going to have to probably pass War of Will.
Meanwhile, Tax, another horse who skipped the middle jewel of the Triple Crown for Danny Gargan. He was 15th, really a non-factor in that race, but he's going to come back for the Belmont as well.
Well, Tax, listen, he gave it all he could, and he tried to beat Tacitus in the Wood, and Tacitus has had trouble and still beat him. One thing I do like about Tax, he's a grinding type of horse, Chad, so he might like the Belmont distance.
And the one thing with this one is I wouldn't take this breeze as seriously as the one we saw from Tacitus. Tacitus was in company. Tax, always a lazy horse by himself in the morning time. He's a very difficult horse to ride. That's the assistant trainer Orlando on him there. In company, he's a lot more aggressive. He'll breeze a lot faster. This is what Danny wanted to get done. He wanted to have a little bit of an easy move. He's not 100% committed yet to the Belmont. He wants the horse to continue moving forward. He might look at a race like the Belmont Derby instead of the Belmont Stakes.
Danny Gargan has always said, going back before when he ever ran in the Kentucky Derby, he thought the longer he goes, this horse would be better.
Yeah, his running style does seem like that. It seems like he runs the same speed. Now, Master Fencer, he sort of runs his races upside down.
Well, he had some issues working out as well. It was supposed to be Julian Leparoux aboard for the work. He missed it because of a canceled flight. So the regular exercise rider, Yosuke Kono, was aboard. The horse stumbled slightly inside the 8th pole, caused Kono to pull up shortly after the finish line, and they looked at him. He had a little inflammation on his left front ankle afterwards.
And this is a little bit of a different work. He's working with bell boots over there. That's not something you often see from horses that are working out. This wasn't something we saw from him working at Keeneland just last week. They're trying this out for some reason. They've done it before in Japan. He's comfortable with it, but it could cause you to have a little inflammation in an ankle. It could rub up on your ankle a little bit the wrong way. They took precautionary x-rays. The x-rays came back negative. He appears to be fine to go, but this isn't the work I want to see going into the biggest race of my life.
The only thing you can get out of that is his ears did pop back up after the incident, so he was asking for another command like, okay, I'm okay, let's go, but it's still not a great sign.
Well, yeah, after the work, they actually gave him a light jog, and the connection said there were no issues. Here's the translator talking about what happened during the work.
He just tried to change his lead, but his timing was just a little bad, and because of that, he looked like he stumbled. So, but he's totally fine as of now. Even though we had such a unfortunate stumble, but in total, I'm satisfied with his work. From the breeze, I checked his work and so forth, and then it seems okay. And after that, we asked to the vet to examine precisely, and then they said no problem. So I'm pretty satisfied for the condition, and also even this morning, he worked handwork 1 hour, but he was totally fine. So in a sense, I'm so relieved.
He was an exciting finisher in that Kentucky Derby. He went from 19th to 7th, gobbled up a ton of ground, picked off a lot of horses. Could provide some excitement to the Belmont.
Yeah, do you get fooled by a horse like this? A horse that picked off a ton of horses on a sloppy racetrack. Are we going to get rain on this type of day? Are we going to get that kind of field? I'm sorry, I regardless of what the work is, could have been the best work I've ever seen. This horse is a complete bet against because this is a horse that comes from way out of it, and you need horses in a race and pace in a race. There's just not going to be enough.
And the big thing, too, this is a horse who's come from Japan. Sometimes when you get here after quarantine, you can run a big race. Okay, and then there's a little bit of a regression. So, yeah, he does have the 5 weeks. He skips the Preakness and comes here, but he went from Keeneland to Churchill, back to Keeneland, now up to New York. He's used to training kind of on a training track, nice and quiet, mile and a 16th. Now you're coming here, Big Sandy, mile and a half. It'll play games with the young, don't forget, these are young 3-year-olds. They haven't run that many times yet. It's a big kind of gap for him to get used to, and maybe just not up here for long enough to make an impact on Belmont.
Maybe the best, Alani third. Didn't Alani run third?
Yep. Yeah. Japanese horse as well. Of course, Gronkowski made that huge move from well off the pace last year. Could Master Fencer do that in 2019? We will see. Maiden special weight coming up at Churchill Downs in race number 6. And Blip Says Bye, 9-2 on the board right now, trained by Wayne Catalano. He's with Frank Lyons.
Hi, you're here for the 6th race, and we're here with Wayne Catalano, the Catman, and you send out number 6, Blip Says Bye. I have a mark here in my program where I say that this filly's going to improve the most.
Yeah, we really like the way she's training. She's coming in the race good, so we're happy with everything. We're hoping to get a win tonight.
She ran well first time out. You hope you're going to get a win tonight?
We're hoping to get a win tonight, yeah.
Yeah, so we're confident?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Always
She ran well first time out. It was a Richie Baltas filly that Delmar made out of run second in the Sorrento that beat her. And so I'm just giving you a tip on the form. The form is good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, okay, so you say that this filly is training great?
Yeah, we're very happy with everything right now.
Yeah.
We're looking to go to the winner's circle.
Okay, well, I'll see you in the winner's circle.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Catman.
God, Frank Lyons is a gem. I love it. He's trying to get the winner out of Catman. And here's the thing about Wayne Catalano. He knows them well because Catman, he knows when his horses are ready, and he was being a little bit bullish there. But I'm telling you right now, the 6 is ready to go. You could tell.
And the one thing that Wayne Catalano, he always kind of gives his horses one at Keeneland and has them primed to go at Churchill.
True.
Maybe we're seeing that here.
And this horse showed a little bit of speed early on in that debut at Keeneland. Maybe could get out there and be freewheeling on the front end in this spot as well. But that was a productive race, too. Second place finisher would come back to win a stake out of that race as we have our post-parade here coming up. We start off with a first-time starter here for Rudolph Brissett, daughter of Uncle Mo.
Taking all the money from 6-1 morning line to your 2-1 favorite, a $775,000 2-year-old in training purchase. Breeze 21-2 that day and looked the part. This is from the family of McKenzie. This horse is really, really live.
Pay attention to the tote board on firsters like this. Here's the 2. Easton again debuted at Fairgrounds for Larry Jones.
Yeah, this is a horse 44-1, first time out with Sophie Doyle. Now gets his main rider, Gabriel Saez.
Larry Jones sends out Miss Moneypenny as well.
The other Larry Jones horse, not as good as the 2ist, and again, way up against it here.
First-timer for Steve Asmussen, daughter of Malibu Moon, Mount Brave.
Taking some money. This horse been working over at Keeneland. Started working at Fairgrounds and gets his main man, Ricardo Santana, major player.
Just 2 published works for the 5 Centerfold Angel.
And despite her mother being a Grade 2 place horse, was just a $3,500 purchase as a yearling, but does show a fast work, 48 and change.
Blip Says Bye. Here's Wayne Catalano's filly.
Yeah, comes out of that live race, showed some speed after breaking a little flat-footed. Look for a better effort today.
Ben Colebrook trains the 7 Club Car, Corey Lannery aboard.
Of the horses who have run, this is the horse to beat. 2 really good efforts in the first 2 starts.
So Luna, Tyler Bays just won the last race. He'll be aboard this Tis Now filly for Steve Asmussen.
I'm sort of with you, Greg. I think this horse is live. I can't believe 23-1 on a second-time starter for Steve Asmussen.
She was bet first time out, too.
Went
off at 7-2.
And she's a filly by Tis Now. She can get better.
Here's Unsweet Tea at 11-1.
John Court aboard the first 3 starts. They were all good. The 4th start, not so good. John Court comes back aboard today.
And 19-1 outside on Complex Analysis, Ron Moquette.
Yeah, what do you do with this horse? This horse was bet also first time out in a tough Oaklawn Park meet, and the chart caller put a bit erratic. Was about right. She was all over the place, and she was green. Look for a better effort, but again, 17-1.
I'd like to see that David Cohen stays aboard. Sometimes as a top jockey, when you ride a horse that's all over the track first time out, you don't want to ride him back. David Cohen comes to the barn. He says, give me another chance.
All right, so 4 minutes away from race 6 here at Churchill Downs. Let's go back to Frank Lyons.
Hi, guys. So the 6th race coming up here, Churchill's a maiden special weight, 3 and up, and this is a really good race. The number 1 horse in here, La Chancellor, she was a 775,000 2-year-old buy. She was the third most expensive horse bought out of the OBS sale last year. She's working very well. I heard that she was a little bit of a goofball, but she's coming out on the track. She looks ultra professional. Then Larry Jones sends out the 2 and the 3. The 3 is an interesting filly. She hasn't ran much so far, but she is a 3/4 sister to spinster winner I'm a Chatterbox. You remember I'm a Chatterbox, also trained by Larry Jones. Then the 4 horse, I hear 2 tips in the paddock out there. They say that she is exactly like Ruffian. I think that's a pretty high praise on a first-time starter. She's by Malibu Moon out of Wild Gams. You remember Wild Gams? She made $1.2 million. She was just a really, really tough racehorse. All she's bred so far have been tough, hard-knocking winners, but she hasn't bred a really good horse yet. So they say that this Mount Brave is going to really show us something today. You heard from Wayne Catalano. He loves Blip Says Bye. I'm not sure if he knows about the other horses, but as far as he's concerned, his filly's going to run real good. And I'll tell you, Ben Colebrook sends out the 7 Club car. She is, she's out of Sitting at the Bar, who was a $705,000 Louisiana-bred stakes winner. She was a really good mare. This is one of her first foals. And then Saluna, the 8 horse, I thought she looked very well. She was 3-1 in her debut, 7-2, finished 5th, beaten 13 lengths against a filly called Into Trouble, who would come back to win the Arlington Washington Lassie. And then on the outside, we have Unsweet Tea and Complex Analysis. I don't really love either of those. I'm going to go with the 1 horse, La Chancellor. She looked great in the paddock, drawing the 1 holes. Not a great, in your first start. But I think that she's looks mature enough to handle it. But I think, like I said, guys, this is a great maiden special weight.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting storylines as Frank brings up. He's going to wind up going with the one the public is as well. But how about it's the first timer getting some comparisons to one of the greats of all time?
Yeah, right. Ruffian, but like he talks about the mares in this race. Wild Gams was a runner. I mean, Hard Life actually was a great runner. I can't believe they actually bred her to Snappy Halo. Sitting at the Bar, the Louisiana bred. Yeah, you could have a race between the mares in here. They're all monsters.
Sitting at the Bar, 11 for 19 in her career.
Yeah.
Doesn't get any better than that, right? Wild Gam's a 9-time stakes winner.
Yeah.
And even Saluna. Saluna's a half-sister to Notional. Grade 2 winner, 2nd in the Florida Derby. So, I mean, certainly pedigree-wise, it's a great race. You see that sometimes at Churchill with the 2-year-olds, not often sometimes with the 3-year-olds like we see today.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wild Gams, the dam of the 4 Mount Brave, Sitting at the Bar, the dam of the 7 Club car. And then, yeah, I think we all think Saluna is very interesting. Why give up on a filly who showed some ability first time out, got bet first time out, and now could certainly move up start number 2.
And she walked out of the gate. I mean, the race was over the first 50 yards. She literally walked out of the gate and spotted the field 3 or 4 lengths. And Sean Bridgman kind of did the right thing by her. He didn't really ask her at the end of the race.
Well, for those just tuning in, wondering what happened to the finale at Belmont Park, we told you earlier they canceled the final race on the card. We had some inclement weather in the area. We've got a little downpour here late in the card, and as a result of that, the 9th and final race was canceled, but there were some consolation payouts as a result, including getting paid out in the NYRA Bets Late Pick 5.
It wouldn't have mattered at all. The Pick 3 was the only thing where if you would have been alive to a lot, you might have got a little bit. But here's the thing. You get the Pick 4 to $75, just take it. And if you had all in the last race, you're happy as pigs in mud right now because you just got $9.55 a copy. So hopefully you did have the all because it was tough to get to. Senile, Timely Tradition, SAFTA, I know, but SAFTA was dead on the board early. And Show Prince winning, I thought, was big too.
Senile, $17 for Todd Pletcher. You don't often see that here at Belmont Park.
That's true.
SAFTA, that was the big surprise because that was a horse that everyone thought was going to be maybe as short as even money.
I think a lot of people didn't single SAFTA where I thought they did, and that's why I paid that. That's a lot because if you look, and the last race doesn't get taken off the turf, the 9 Andretti would have been, what, in there, 3 to 5?
You would think
Very
so,
short price, but I was going to play against actually.
I know, because
4
she
seconds
likes
and 7
to learn
starts.
a lot of seconds. I get that. And there was a first-time starter in there in the 7. The 1 was interesting in there. So if you got your $995, I'd take it and run.
Back at Churchill. getting set to load up here for race 6. So favorite has now become Club Car for Ben Colebrook, and one of the more experienced runners in this group. She's making start number 3 here this afternoon.
Well, you got to love that she's got foundation, right? 7 furlongs, then 6 furlongs. She had the 11 holes. She was wide most of the time. She's got 2 races under her belt. We're projecting all these nice pedigrees with the 1 and the 4, supposedly the goods in the morning. Well, the goods in the afternoon of all these horses has been the 7.
And that's what I think the public is starting to catch on to here, now taking down to 9-5. And she's been able to rate. We don't know how the pace scenario sets up with so many first-time starters. This filly's shown an ability to sit 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and still come running at the end. And you don't see that a lot with young fillies.
And she finished in her 2nd start last out ahead of a horse who would come back to win in Vomba, who was well clear of the rest of that field, 7+ lengths clear in that race. So can she move forward again? We're going to find out here. Club Car breaking from post 7. Of course, Frank Lyons, he talked to Wayne Catalano, trains the 6. Blip says bye. Let's send it to Travis Stone with the call. Here's race 6 from Churchill Downs on Fox Sports 2 and Fox Sports Prime Ticket.
They're in the gate. And the rough. Slow and awkward start for LeChoncla for the inside draw. Blip says buys racing for the lead. Mount Brave's away well. Those 2 fastest out of the gate. Unsweet Tea racing 3rd on the outside. Istana advancing from the inside. 4th Club Car up to be 5th. Complex Analysis 6th and on the outside. Miss Moneypenny down inside 7th. Saluna tucking up into 8th. 4 lengths back to Centerfold Angel. And LeChoncla's at the back of the pack after that slow and awkward beginning. Far turn run. Blip says bye, going head-to-head with Mount Brave. They round the far turn together. Istan again is not far behind, though. Right in behind racing, 3rd with 2 lengths to make up. And now she angles outside for the final quarter mile. And then it's Unsweet Tea under pressure running along in 4th. Club Car's 5th and down inside. Well within striking range, though. They're off the turn. They're into the stretch. Blip says bye, tenuous lead. Istan again is there. Club Car pops outside and is coming with a bid. Unsweet Tea. LeChoncla from far behind is rallied up on the far outside. Down to the final 16th. Istan again, short lead. Mount Brave, Club Car right there. Istan again wanders outside. Mount Brave digs down toward the rail and re-rallies to win it. Mount Brave down inside over Istan again, Club Car, and Tough Luck LeChoncla.
Well, we talked a lot about the dam of this one, Wild Gams. 4-2-7 finish, Mount Brave with the win, and a rough start for La Chancellor inside.
Wow, she was good, Chad. We talked about this. And what I like about Flo, the jockey did, he got her back involved, and then he settles with the 1. And I guess the 4 was ruffian, not exactly ruffian, but a good tip that Frank Lyons was talking about, the Steve Aston runner. But the 1's just a horse from here. But I want you to keep on this, because if you look, this runs the 4 and the 2 right down to the wire. Those 2 horses are 1st and basically 2nd. Now watch the 1 start marching up on the complete outside, probably the wrong part of the racetrack, and she can run.
No, and this is a filly that has a really, really promising future. And knowing the connections like we do, put this one in the stable mail. Look for opening week at Saratoga, the first maiden special weight. That's where you'll see this filly. She'll be 2-5, and she'll win like a good thing. Maybe run on to big 3-year-old filly stake races. I mean, this is a filly you're talking about races like the Cotillion down the line. She really looks like a promise. I mean, even here, she's a little erratic in the stretch, and then she finally switches leads, gets to the outside again with Fluner, and keeps on coming. If there was a pan to be able to really pan it out, or the head on later on, you'll see how much ground she makes up. She makes up another 3 lengths here. She gets beat probably a length and a half.
Just about to enter your picture in a moment.
You see Gabriel Saz aboard the 2.
There she is.
She shifted a tiny bit to the 7, your favorite, but I don't think there was anything there. But yeah, you saw her flash there late, but some good information from our man Frank Lyons, 7-2 on a first-time starter.
That's a guy that's been on the racetrack for too long, though. Gets a tip that it's ruffian, and then he picks against her anyway.
Exactly. What was that? One of the greats of all time.
But he probably picked the right horse. I mean, I hate taking away anything from the winner because they battle. But now we've seen 2 horses get completely passed on the rail and have come back. And the 1 got dead left and was 6 wide and lose the whole ball of wax by what? A couple lengths here. Like Chad said, look for the 1 to be about even money at Saratoga here pretty soon.
Mount Brave, though, able to get the job done first time out for trainer Steve Asmus at 4.27. The one checks in fourth after that terrible beginning and going extremely wide in the stretch. So absolutely watch La Chancellor next time out. But Mount Brave, the win. We'll have the prices from race 6 at Churchill. Set up race 7 when we come back. And that young man, one of the best young riders in the country, Ricardo Santana Jr. He had a hot start at Saratoga last summer. Could be in store for another one this year. We'll be back.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm Stallion Lee. Recent top runners include Cutting Humor, winner of the Grade 3 Sunland Park Derby, plus 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, and international star Shamal Nibras. This year, his 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $310,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Coming on strong. Coming on.
Minute to stardom leaves them all behind with an impressive-looking run.
Coming on.
Testing 1-2 is all alone. She comes to the 16th pole, and this one is all over but the crying. At the 16th pole, this is all Rockin' Sunday Mash.
My love for you. Coming on strong.
Runhappy was the fastest 3-year-old sprinter of his generation.
Runhappy is stamping his horses. And they all got great necks, great hind legs. They all got a good walk, and this colt moves very, very well. Very smart. He hasn't turned a hair since we've had him. First day we turned him out, he was very, very gentle in his paddock and did everything right. He's got an exceptional pedigree.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
We're back on America's Day at the Races, the 6th at Churchill Downs. In the books, and a smiling trainer. Steve Asmus in the winner's circle, his first-time starter. Mount Brave with the win. Let's go to Frank Lyons.
Hey guys, here with Steve Asmussen, who sent out Mount Brave to win the 6th race. That was a pretty tough race, I think, Steve, looking at them in the paddock. And your filly had a pretty tough race down on the inside, but she's an awful nice filly.
She really is, you know, very game today. As you mentioned, you know, quality homebred for Stone Street out of a very game, good race mare in Wild Gams. And I think she'll get a lot out of the race. I love how she fought late, and this filly's going to have a good future.
Yeah, I heard comparisons to Ruffian in the paddock. So 2 guys said to me in there, this filly's like Ruffian, she'll win. I don't know about Ruffian, but she's a pretty nice filly.
Well, we're not gonna touch that, but we have had some very good fillies for Stone Street in the past, and hopefully she's the next one.
Sure. Now, would you give her a little time after this race because she had a hard race, or would she be, you know, how do you assess how quick that you'll bring back a filly like this?
Well, she's a big, strong mare. I think she'll actually benefit from the hard race. She's taken a lot of training. It's taken a lot of time to get her to this point, but she's big. She carries a lot of weight, and she's needed a lot of work to get to this point.
Okay, well, the best of luck. What's next, by the way?
Well, I expect to run her back in another than here at Churchill.
All right. Thank you very much. Steve Asmussen, guys, trainer of the 4 Mount Brave.
And maybe we'll see her down the line this summer as well.
It's good. That's good.
At Saratoga, but yeah, she has talent.
It's good info because he's basically telling you she's strong, she can go longer. He's not really worried about her next start at all, you know. So a filly by Malibu Muna, Forest Wildcat mare. We talked about Wild Gams. I think her best moment was at Keeneland, if I'm not mistaken, gate to wire score.
And again, keep your eyes on not showing up on the board there, but the 4th place finisher, La Chancellor, one to definitely put in those stable notes and find out when she is running back. We move on, race 7, still 2 races to come on this Twilight Thursday at Churchill Downs. 6.5 furlongs up next, an allowance optional claiming field, and Steve Asmussen with a chance to go back-to-back. He's got the 4 in here. He's making an equipment change, blinkers on.
Yeah, I'm glad you're not going to touch that name either. Either am I. But Ricardo Santana, blinkers go on. This horse has got gait issues. Is broken, almost dead last in all of his races except a couple. In the last 3, dead last. Needs to get out of the gate, and maybe that's why they're adding blinkers.
We'll get to the post parade from that race coming up. We've been talking about this race for such a long time because it is a star-studded group. It'll be on Belmont Stakes Day, and it may even steal the thunder of the third and final leg of the Triple Crown. A loaded group in this year's edition of the Met Mile. And Steve Asmussen, of course, he won this race last year. The Met Mile would beat Jersey, and it looks like he's got a strong chance to do it again with a horse who might be the best sprinter in the entire country right now, Mitole.
Well, I mean, Chad, I'll let you go first, but this is, wow.
First, it's like 358 days later, and it doesn't sting any less, Greg, when you say that he won the race last year. It really doesn't. It was a heartbreaking defeat for me. Good for Steve, but it was a heartbreaking defeat. B Jersey. Mitole's probably better than B Jersey. The question with Mitole is, can he take that speed to a mile? Now, Belmont's a one-turn mile, and that's going to play to his benefit, but he hasn't gone this far yet. That's going to be the big question with Mitole. Can they nurse that speed with Ricardo Santana gate to wire?
So he stretched out to 7, Mitole, last time out. It looked like he loved it. What's the big difference now going that extra furlong?
It's just that little bit more, and you don't know when to say uncle until it's true enough. Now, they gallop a mile all the time in the morning time. It's just like the Belmont Stakes. How do you know when they can go a mile and a half? It's the first time they do it. That's when you know. Mitole's given every sign that he can do it, but this is the first time he's going to meet this field. He's beaten Whitmore twice now, but this isn't Cole Front. You're talking about,
wow, this is
monsters. Forget about it.
This is monsters. You got a two-time Dubai World Cup winner in Thunder Snow. Firenze Fire has thrown up 100 buyer after 100 buyer. We haven't even talked about McKenzie, who I think now is starting to turn the corner and absolutely crushed at Churchill Downs. And Pavel, who just got added, completely better one-turn horse, and he could be a handful as well. And I'm not even including Coldfront, like you're saying. And Promises Fulfilled is going to be the horse to catch.
Firenze Fire, when he comes to Belmont, he is just a different animal. Jason Service said back in the Dwyer last year, they were waiting for this opportunity for him in the Dwyer last year, and he did not disappoint. Every time 3 for 3 here, he has won stake race after stakes race. And again, brilliant in the Runhappy sprinting.
And does he sit off Mitole early, or does Promises Fulfilled and Mitole go at it? How does this play out? Is he going to be your favorite?
He needs to sit off. I mean, he's not faster than Mitole.
No,
Mitole's the fastest horse in the country, but this is a huge work here for a guy like Jason Service, who doesn't work his horses fast. We saw it with Maximum Security basically working 53-second half miles, those 2-minute licks. Obviously, Frenzy Fire, a different horse. He's a sprinter, but a huge, huge work here. He's got a ton of horse. He couldn't be doing any better going into this race.
Very similar training styles are him and Doug O'Neill. They do not train their horses fast. They do it by themselves. They do a lot of 2-minute licks. That's what you're going to see from Pavel, too. You're not going to see much flash at all. He just, what they do is they just, like you said, work him in like 50 and so, and just let him go round and round and get more fitness because they want that speed in the afternoon.
But when you look at how the race sets up, think about the morning line. How tough is David O'Connor's going to be right here when you have 6 different horses who could legitimately be the post-time favorite?
The crazy part is Thunder Snows went back-to-back Dubai World Cups, right? And he was bucking out of the starting gate in the Kentucky Derby. And a lot of people...
That crowd, can get to you.
Yeah, that crowd can get to you a little bit. But now he's a different racehorse. He could be an animal around one turn. We don't know what we're running into with Thunder Snow.
Well, it is a stallion-making race, and it is going to be a star-studded field, this year's edition of the Met Mile. We're going to get back out to Churchill Downs. We're 15 minutes away from race 7, and Frank Lyon standing by with a Kentucky Oaks winning trainer.
Guys, I'm here with a friend of yours. What's your name again?
Yeah, what's your name?
Oh, yeah.
It's been quite a while, my friend.
Yes, I've been gone. I've been locked up in the closet.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're out of the closet.
Yes, okay, yeah. I'm glad too. So what about Serengeti Empress? How is she doing?
She's doing great. She's going to breeze on Saturday. She'll fly up to New York on Wednesday, and she'll run the following Saturday, the 8th. She's in the Acorn. So one-turn mile, Serengeti Empress likes to use her speed.
Yeah.
There's other speed in the race, so we're going to see how it goes.
So you don't feel any pressure now that you've won the Kentucky Oaks. It's kind of like you can run anywhere, and you still have that on your resume.
Yeah, look, the media's brutal, and they're tough on me. But look, it's you, right?
Yeah, of course.
So, I mean,
look, listen,
I've got the
we'll be
comfort.
nice to you. We'll be nice to you.
Comfortably numb, I think is the word I'm looking for.
Okay.
When it comes to us, right?
Yes, absolutely. Now, when it comes to this race, you send out a line judge, a real old tough horse. What about the line judge today?
He's our kind of horse, right?
He's our kind of
11
horse.
For 23 lifetime. Those are the kind you want in the barn. He brings his game every time.
Yeah.
Tough field. He's not eligible for the allowance because he's already won this level. So he runs for the claim here, and we'll see how he does.
Yeah, he ran against Mosito Rojo, that horse that won the Steve Sexton mile down
indeed.
at Lone Star.
He did indeed.
Gentrified ran third to him. He didn't show up for, didn't advertise your form a few races earlier. But this horse, you think is going to do it today?
Yeah, look, you didn't fall off the turnip truck yesterday, did you? You know your stuff.
I didn't fall off a turnip truck. I fell off the meat wagon. Tom Amoss sending out line judge here in the 7th race at Churchill. Is it the 6th race?
No, we're on the 7th now, Frank.
7th race at Churchill.
Those are two old friends that know each other very, very well from having worked together over the years. We're so happy for Tom Amoss that he accomplished the win of a lifetime. That was so important to him, and he's such a good person. And it's going to be real fun to see Serengeti Empress come here for the Acorn.
It almost brought me to tears. I actually texted him, I better get a drunk text tonight. And he did. He gave me a drunk text. Hey, buddy, it's 2 in the morning. You told me to text you. I've had way too many. That's exactly what he texted me. And he linebacker tackled his wife, and it was even better. And his wife, Colleen, is the backbone, and he'll even tell you, the backbone of that family, and Haley and everybody else that's involved in the Amosses. I'm so happy for him. And his horse got a big shot in this race, too.
This race he does, the Acorn, he makes no bones about it. He's going to the lead.
Yes.
He said it before the Breeders' Cup. He said it before the Kentucky Oaks. It worked in the Kentucky Oaks. It didn't work in the Breeders' Cup. The Acorn, there's a lot of speed signed up in here. Maybe be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, maybe he's trying to let everybody know, don't come after me.
Well, you run with her.
Oh, you're going to go fast. You're going to get cooked. You are.
You may get cooked, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wins from post 13 in that race.
But here's the thing, like, Chad makes a great point. She had a bad race. She comes into the race now going into the Kentucky Oaks. They let her go on the front end thinking, okay, she had that bad race. She's not going to keep on going. Well, she turned into the old Serengeti Empress. Now the jig is up. They know. Yeah. Don't let her go out there by herself. So her job's going to be a lot tougher, and I would think Tom knows that as well. But still, she might be a handful.
And a tough call, too. Jose Ortiz going to take off. After riding and winning the Kentucky Oaks, he's going to ride for Chad Brown in the Acorn and take off Serengeti Empress. Maybe he's showing his hand, too.
Yeah, I guess where you have to go where you always eat.
I mean, Guerrero coming off just the maiden win.
It's tough because he rides for that barn so often that doesn't want to
Who's
upset.
riding Serengeti Empress?
Irad Ortiz.
I'm surprised.
He's become the backup rider
I
for
thought
Jose.
I thought he would go to Tyler Gaffleone, who actually
had the call.
But he's decided to go with Irad. Maybe.
Well, and again, it was Tyler Gaffleone, a big part of the reason that Serengeti Empress was even in the Kentucky Oaks.
Yeah.
A little miscue on a workout and worked in their favor. As we take a look at that loaded field for the Acorn as well, and that's who Serengeti Empress, your Kentucky Oaks winner, is going to face. As for Tom's horse coming up in the 7th race here, that is Line Judge, the 6th horse right there. It's 6-1. What do you make of Line Judge's chances?
Well, listen, Tom is a master, and that's why he's one of the best at placing his horses. He's a condition book master. If you look, Indiana Downs, Mountaineer, Churchill, Indiana, Delta, Charlestown. He finds spots for his horses, and that's why this horse is 11 for 23. Taking nothing away, $386,000 in the bank. Does have a win at Churchill.
And the horse is winless. He's never run 6.5, but he does own a lot of wins going 3/4. And that slight cutback to the 3/4 might be what this horse wants. Race loaded with speed. He's going to kind of sit the trip here.
This horse is an ATM.
No, he is. I mean, you know, we had Richie on the set on Sunday, and he loves horses like that. You'd have to. I mean, when they win 11 out of 23, Ched, you'll say it. Some horses
nose for the wire.
Nose for the wire. Doesn't matter what they do in the morning. You can just know they're going to show up in the afternoon.
Very rarely do you see Tom Amoss and Maggie Moss claim one back. They're so proficient at playing the claiming game. If they lose one, they move on to the next one. Line Judge, they claim back, and they protected them in almost every race since then until today. They really, really like this horse.
Yeah, and he can't protect him today, like he said, because the horse has already won this condition. Has to be in for the claiming price, and I would think nobody's going to jump in for 62.5. You never know, but the only one up for a tag.
Got some good
Well,
runners.
the 3 is too, right?
Yeah, the 3 is as well. Mr.
Yeah, Mr.
Ashley.
Ashley. That's the other one that's up for a tag, yeah.
7-1 on Mr. Ashley. Our post parade coming up in a moment. And you see those names of all the Kentucky Derby winners.
Yeah, it's pretty
and
cool.
Those plaques put up at Churchill Downs, and now Hall of Famer Bill Mott with really the last thing that was kind of missing on a Hall of Fame resume.
Yeah. Probably not the way he wanted it, but like he said at the end,
take it.
I'll take it. Exactly. It's almost like one of those like broken bat hits you get that hits the chalk, and you're like, ah, that was lucky. I'm like, give me 3,000 of those and send me to the Hall of Fame.
Our post parade coming up in a moment. We're going to see home base. First good crowd out on this Thursday night for the Twilight Racing out in Louisville. Here's home base from Michael Tomlinson and a son of Street Sense.
This horse has had a couple good races, one at Keeneland and one at Churchill. Then the last three have just been really confusing.
Yeah, well, maybe just in over his head in a couple of real tough races. The Matt Win, a grade 3, and then Triple Crown in Canada. Here's the 3, Mr. Ashley.
Mr. Ashley has a lot of speed coming into here. Could have run on Saturday's Aristides. Wouldn't have been kind of a surprise. The horse he got beat a length to last time is the 3-1 second choice.
Principe Gilherme. I'm trying my best. Blinkers going on for Steve Asmussen.
I'm going to go with you. I'm going to give you a fist pump for that one. Well done. The damn ABK, if I'm not mistaken, has to get out of the gate.
Strolling at 3-1 John Court for Jason Berkeley.
Runs his best honor near the pace. Needs to really get going out of the gate with John Court.
Here's line judge Tom Amoss, James Graham.
Maybe the hunch play. We are in the French Open, right?
Yeah, good
Remember
call.
when Kramer was the ball boy?
I didn't know you're a big tennis fan.
Yeah.
Transatlantic Kiss has some tactical ability.
The 3 best race of this horse's life has been with Brian Hernandez. He rides again today.
And Ike on the outside for Ron Moquette, Miguel Mena.
He's run against horses like Matoli and Life's a Parlay. That might be the best thing for him. He's a plotter. He needs to really improve.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll have the 7th race from Churchill Downs. When we come back, we're 5 minutes to post. And there's Country House for Bill Mott. Guinness McFadden, 2019 Kentucky Derby winner, put up via disqualification. And Maury Shields. We'll be back.
Eclipse champion Blame was considered by many as the breakout stallion of 2018. His top runners included Grade 1 winner and Eclipse Award finalist Marley's Freedom, plus Grade 1 winner Fault and graded stakes winners Maraud, Beyond Blame, Miss Kentucky, and Blamed. His yearling sold up to $500,000, and his sensational daughter Fault brought $1.2 million at the November sale. Outstanding results, outstanding value. Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
There's a power so selfless, it has the ability to heal, to inspire, to unite, to change your life.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearling manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So we have a colt out of Queen of America. He's really nice, looks just like his dad. Very pleased with how he's coming along. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
I was going every morning with my dad to the racetrack, and look at me now. I follow my dad's dream. It was a really special horse for me. I got him since he was 2 years old. I broke his maiden here.
Creator, wow! Creator from nowhere, and he flees the scene.
It was really special for me when the darkness over in 2016.
And they're off in the Arkansas Derby. Creator is flying. Creator now strikes to the lead. Down the outside, sudden breaking news is coming late. Creator have sudden breaking news. Creator's almost there. It's Ricardo Santana Jr. It's Creator to win the Arkansas Derby. The winning jockey, the leading jockey, Jockey Ricardo Santana Jr.
Santana's one of the hardest riders you'll ever see. And he loves to win almost as bad as he hates to lose, which is definitely a trait you want when you're competing. You want somebody that hates to lose more than they love to win.
I don't know, I pass it inside the rail when this much room. This much room.
Since I was a little kid, my dad was a jockey. He's not riding anymore because he broke his back. Bro, he coming with me every day to the track, and he's like my angel. He's my other half. When I was a little kid, I was a favorite jockey that was following him everywhere. Gary Gomez, rest in peace. That was my favorite rider, and he's still my favorite rider. I have a daughter now. I love to spend time with her, and I like staying home with her and watching TV and, you know, laughing with her and have fun with her. I'm always a happy kid and love to live life.
He is a talented young rider. He came to the U.S. at just a 16-year-old. As you saw, he reeled off 6 straight jockey riding titles at Oakland. That streak came to an end this year, but we saw him at Saratoga last summer with the big boys make a huge impact.
Yeah, he can. The thing that stands out to me, he reminds me of a mini Mike Smith because he's got that wicked left hand. I mean, it is wicked, and he can get a horse to really move, and he can carry a horse through the line. Like, he's good on all surfaces too, Chad, and I like the way he finishes on a horse.
But sprinter, it seems like that's been his specialty is the sprint division. He's so quick out of the gate, gets him in good position. We'll see here. This one's 6.5, maybe a token Ricardo Santana rider.
Yeah, he needs to get that one out of the gate.
Saw him briefly. He's going to be on the 4 in here, and that one for Steve Asmussen. They're a formidable combination. Let's head back to Louisville and go to Frank Lyons.
Hey guys, so we have a 6.5 furlong non-winners of 3 lifetime allowance race here coming up, and it's optional 62.5 if you want to be in for the claim. There's a couple of horses in for the claim. Mr. Ashley, the 3-horse, being one. This horse was second in his last 2 starts. He's had 4 starts here at Churchill with 3 second-place finishes, so he looks to go one better today. The 4-horse, Princess Guilherme, you heard Paul LoDuca say that he has trouble at the gate. I think that this horse might be a little bit overbred, although he did run against a very nice Minnesota bred called Mr. Jägermeister last time out, who's 8 for 15 a lifetime. And then 2 starts back, he ran against a horse called Moho Man. He actually finished behind this horse. He finished 3rd, and Moho Man was 2nd. And Moho Man comes out of the race that Cummings, you see a lot of these horses coming out of a race that Cummings won last time. Well, Moho Man, who finished 2nd ahead of Princess Guilherme, finished 10th in that race against Cummings. I'll tell you who, well, obviously the 6 horse is going to run a huge race. Tommy Amoss, hoping that he doesn't lose this horse. He's won 11 of 23. He already has a win in 2 starts here at Churchill Downs. And I think the best looking horse in the race was Transatlantic Kiss for Greg Foley, who's standing, he was standing right over there. All right, guys. So it's I'm going to put the 7 on top for me.
And there is the 7 Transatlantic Kiss moving in line. Last to load the 9 Ike. Let's go to Travis Stone. Here's the call. The 7th live from Churchill Downs.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Line judge, mid-pack, out well. Transatlanticus is there, and Ike on the far outside, so those 3 fastest out, and they angle over toward the inside. Home base comes away 4th while in behind. Mr. Ashley off the pace, running along in 5th. Principe Guilherme comes away 6th, and on the outside, Strolling is the last of them all. Down the backstretch, Ike comes on to take the lead. It's Ike in front. Transatlantic Kiss trying to keep pace, running in second. Home Base emerging from the pack to be third. Pincay Guillerme wide out of the far turn fourth. Mr. Ashley is right there, 2-5. Home Base and a little bit tight there, lost a couple of spots. Strolling is winding up while going wide. Line Judges saving ground, so round the far turn. Ike trying to shake loose, but it's a tenuous lead. Transatlantic Kiss re-rallies down inside. Pincay Guillerme is also there and only about a half length behind as they come to the top of the stretch. Strolling is caught up as well. Off the turn, into the stretch. Transatlantic Kiss with something left for the stretch drive. Kicks away to lead by 3, now by 4. Pincay Guillerme up into second, Strolling third. Line Judge late in the scene for fourth with 100 yards to go. It will be Transatlantic Kiss to ramble home the 5-length winner. Line Judge got second, Pincay Guillerme third, Strolling fourth.
Frank Lyons coming through for us. Transatlantic Kiss, Greg Foley, Brian Hernandez Jr.
And Brian Hernandez has clearly been watching races today. We've seen it in the last two. The rail is golden today, and for some reason the rail is wide open. Brian goes right through it and doesn't look back.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen the same movie like the last 3 races we've watched. The horses on the rail just keep on going away. You could see your favorite trying to chase here, the 4. And it looked like the 7 was trying to get out on the turn too as well, but 6-1. It gets very tight here for second, but I think your 6 gets up in here. Line Judge to round out the exacta.
Second biggest price on the board, and the one that Frank Lyons said looked best as they were loading up.
You can see the replay. You know, the 4 actually broke better than he's ever broke. The 5 was the horse that got left in the race.
And Mr. Ashley gets kind of squeezed between, and that hurts Mr. Ashley because he's a horse that needs to go, needs to be in front, and he kind of loses all chance at the start there.
Yeah, 3 horse definitely got squeezed right there, but in the end, Transatlantic Kiss, 4 wins now from 12 career starts. Son of Stormy Atlantic. For Bernard Racing, Greg Foley, and again, Brian Hernandez Jr. aboard for that winning ride at 6-1. So a nice price there in the 7th at Churchill. We'll get your prices, set up the finale in just a little bit. We want to talk briefly about the feature they have coming up over the weekend as well at Churchill Downs. That is the Aristides, and that duo we've been talking about a lot, Steve Asmus and Ricardo Santana Jr. They're going to send out Share the Upside, or team up, I should say, with Share the Upside, who looked like he had a lot of upside when he went against Whitmore in the Hot Springs at Oakland. That was a race that we covered earlier this year on America's Day at the Races.
Ran a good race. Good
Fox Saturday at the races.
Yeah, ran a good race. And this horse has got some tremendous form and does have a win at Churchill Downs. The last 3 races have just been phenomenal. And this was the last time out on April 20th when he beats a nice little field in here. And he beats one of his competitors that he's going to meet in Wilbo. And Wilbo came out of this race to come back and beat Petrov. So it's a key race.
It's a key race, and that was a confident ride from Ricardo Santana, but he's still looking for that first stakes win, is Share the Upside, and there's some others in here that are certainly interesting.
That's a good group. Yeah, Share the Upside, 9-5 morning line. He has been first or second 7 of 9 career starts. Of course, Mr. Crow we got to know a couple of summers ago at Saratoga. He put up some massive races early on in his career, and it looks like now with Ben Colebrook, he's rounded back into form.
He could be dangerous because he can run a sneaky, just giant race, sort of a big, dangling son of Tapazar. But yeah, he's getting into better form, but he's going to have to send from the inside.
And with a lot of speed in the race, a horse on the outside, Cowboy Karma, a horse we might remember from the Champagne a couple years ago, back on the Derby Trail briefly. He's found what he wants to do. He's a sprinter. He won the race the opening race on Kentucky Derby Day. Cowboy Karma going in with a lot of positive karma, and he's 6-1.
That's coming up over the weekend. There you see Brian Hernandez Jr. in the winner's circle with Transatlantic Kiss in the 7th. Still another race to come from Churchill Downs. We're going to bring it to those watching on Fox Sports 2. If you're watching on Fox Sports Prime Ticket, Fox Sports San Diego, we're going to leave you here in just a moment. But we will be on Fox Sports 2 through the remainder of this card at Churchill Downs with one more race to come. There's the prices. Transatlantic Kiss, $15.60 for the victory. And now 4 wins from 12 career starts. Again, Fox Sports 2, we're sticking around. Prime Ticket San Diego, take care. All right, so now it's just down to the nightcap coming up as we're out here at Belmont. The rains again coming up. We had this 9th race canceled here at Belmont. We had a little bit of crazy weather out here the last few days. Thunderstorms hitting a little bit, resulted in that last race here being canceled. But we do have our finale coming up at Churchill Downs, and we have a maiden special weight. Was scheduled for the grass main track now. With that, we have a few scratches. The 4, the 5, 7, and 9 all come out.
Yeah, and the money right now going on Freudian Finish, who's got good races, decent races at least, on the main track. This horse 90 cents on the dollar debut, and she disappointed.
She just doesn't quicken. I mean, she's right there, and she makes this one run, but I'm yet to see her quicken in the stretch.
We're going to take a break. We'll have the post parade from race 8 at Churchill, their finale. When we come back, we will also have the story of a trainer we just heard from, trainer Tom Amoss. A breakthrough win for him with Serengeti Empress in the Kentucky Oaks. His daughter, Haley, tells us where that name came from. Are any of you guys Toto fans?
Of course.
All right. We'll hear more about that story when we come back. Stay tuned.
There's one thing that everybody wants in our game is they want speed. Daredevil has the speed. You know that he ran a 107 buyer when he won the Champagne Stakes, the Grade 1. That's faster than Uncle Mo, Scat Daddy, and Union Rags.
As a 2-year-old, he ran a 96 buyer when he broke his maiden, a 107 buyer in the Champagne, beating a nice horse in Upstart. He is by more than ready, another feather in his cap. I can't wait to see these horses run it too.
This is a colt by Runhappy out of Addison Run. We bred here at Moffra Hall. Well, he's a big, strong, good bone, big old hip on him. Moves really well, has that kind of big cat-like walk when he just relaxes and gets rolling up and down the lane.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farms.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. With yearlings bringing up to $650,000 and his first crop 2-year-old selling up to $430,000, the sky is the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
I'm Haley Amoss, and I'm here with Serengeti Empress. And today we're going to talk about how Serengeti Empress got her name. So when you name a racehorse, you can have 18 letters in the name. And Serengeti Empress is actually not named after her mother or her father, like some horses are. Serengeti Empress's owner, Joel Politti's daughters, are big fans of the song Africa by Toto. So there's a lyric in the song that goes, when the mountain rises above the Serengeti like an empress. That's what they named her after. So, as you can see, she's a big fan of the name.
Love how they put some thought into that name. Joel Politti has 4 daughters, and it was Annie. He says daughter number 3 who came up with that name. She loved that song house. She latched onto it. She actually sings it as well, and that's where they came up with the name Serengeti Empress.
Hey, I love a little 80s music, a little Toto, a little Africa. It's a great song, by the way. Good choice.
Listen, having fun with horse names is really one of the best parts of owning horses.
It really is. It's cool. I tried to name a horse Chin Music, but it was taken.
Ah,
yeah.
Look at, here's who Serengeti Empress is going to line up against in the Acorn. And as Chad told us earlier, going to have a pilot switch, although it still stays in the family.
It does, but with Karina having the speed that she has, and Jose Ortiz now knowing firsthand the speed that Serengeti Empress has, it's really interesting. I mean, when you have baseball, it's kind of one of those things where you know tendencies. You're a catcher, you know the pitcher's tendencies, and then you might face that pitcher down the road. You're going to use what you know to try and get the best possible position for yourself.
I'm with you. Everybody's going to go after Serengeti Empress. The issue is anybody fast enough to go with her, and can anybody pass her? It's not a big field. There is going to be a lot of speed in the race, but she's going to be the quick of the quick, and Tom is making it no bones about it. If you want to come chase me, come chase me. It's going to end your day, and I think he wants to try to play that game with the rest of the trainers.
We will see how it plays out. Part of a sensational card. Grade 1 after Grade 1 after Grade 1 on Belmont Stakes Day. It's going to be a lot of fun on June the 8th, or that entire racing festival, June 6th to the 8th, going to be a lot of fun. Well, Warfront the International Super Sire. He was a hit-it stud from the very beginning. Early on, he was actually known for producing runners on both turf and dirt, but the last few years, known more for turf runners. That is all changing now once again with this year's 3-year-old crop making noise on the Triple Crown front. Of course, Omaha Beach winning the Arkansas Derby, would have been the Kentucky Derby favorite, and a War of Will winning the Preakness. Those mistakes of saying Warfront can only produce turf runners won't be made anymore.
No.
And it's Warfront. The half was 45 flat. It will be Warfront and Jose Santos.
I think the numbers speak for himself. You know, he's the highest priced stallion in North America, and he's really proven it this year with Omaha Beach and War of Will shining through on the dirt nonetheless.
But nothing stood in his way. War of Will won the Preakness. Today was the day for War of Will.
People will hopefully be reminded that he's a dirt sire as well as a top international turf sire.
He had a number of dirt stakes winners out of his first crop, and for the first 3 or 4 crops he had dirt stakes winners. And then he's gone through a couple of years where he had just turf winners, but I think there were a lot of the offspring ended up in Europe. I would say this September will make a big difference in the way they look at the Warfronts.
Yeah, right now has an estimated value right at $85 million.
Very athletic horse. Real straightforward, class, smart, no problems to work with. Every day is pretty much the same with him. I guess his biggest, as far as funny behavior, is when he's out for the tours and you give him a few peppermints, he'll start to lick his lips. If the sun's shining, hitting him on the back during the tour while we're doing that, he'll almost get a little bit sleepy-eyed. And with this horse, for any kind of video or photo shoots, his ears. You don't have him pinned like he's upset. He just kind of got him flopped back. After being out there for a few minutes, time to go back in after all the visitors had a chance to pet on him and take some photos with him. He kind of gets a little reluctant to go back into a stall because he seems to enjoy the attention.
He is indeed a super sire. Actually, his first crop, he was sort of known more as a dirt sire. He had the factor when the Malibu Soldat would win the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah.
But then he had back-to-back winners on Royal Ascot Day on the turf, and from there on it sort of became known more for turf. But now we know he can throw all kinds as we take a look at the Belmont Stakes probables, and his son, War of Will, going to be the horse to beat.
Well,
coming off that Preakness win.
I get it. I think Tassis will probably be your favorite and War of Will, but the thing that I think people forget about War of Will is, like, everybody always talks about, I don't know if he's going to be able to get the distance. I think people are forgetting that Sadler's Wells is on the bottom side of his pedigree, and he started on turf. And to me, everybody always goes, oh, he's had a great trip, great trip. Good horses put themselves in great trips, and he's going to be tactical, and I think he's going to be a lot tougher than people think on Belmont Day.
You look at the probables for the Belmont, and there's no reason to think he shouldn't sit another dream trip. Who's in front of him from the probables right now? It looks like he's going to go. And if nobody else goes, you're going to work out that dream trip. The shortest trip around the track is on the rail.
He's going to be very dangerous, and we know speed is going to be tough. And I'm telling you right now, he might not stop.
Yeah, you can get out in front and lope along, going a mile and a half. You might just keep on going. We'll find out. It's going to be a lot of fun seeing this third and final leg of the Triple Crown on June the 8th right here at Belmont Park. Back at Churchill Downs in the 7th race, Frank Lyon standing by with a trainer who just took the 7th.
So I'm standing here, guys, with Greg Foley, winning trainer of the 7 Transatlantic Kiss. And I said before she went in the gate, not that I know anything, but that he looked by far the best. Oh,
beautiful horse.
Does he always look this good?
Yeah, but you know he ran the race. Was it Oaks Day or Derby? I think Oaks Day, and it's going 7/8, and maybe I always thought a little tad too far for him, maybe. Sure. And he ran big that day. It was a tough race. But had that race under his belt, and he sure ran big today. You know, ran fast. And, but he's a gorgeous horse, neat old horse. He runs every time you lead him over.
Yeah, he's by Stormy Atlantic. Those horses seem to get a little better with age.
They do. You know, he's been just great to be around this horse here. And ran a big race coming off a layoff there in the fairgrounds. He just got beat. And then we ran him back, and we caught Al Stahl's horse he got in a speed deal with his good horse.
But Bobby's Wicked one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, yeah, it's
Won
on
the
the chart.
Commonwealth afterwards.
Yeah, and he, he got heated early that day, and, he backed up some. So, anyway, he's a nice horse. So.
Yeah. Well done, Greg.
Appreciate it.
All right. Greg Foley, guys.
So a transatlantic kiss, picking up the 4th win of his career, 12 career starts, and Greg Foley. All
Well, it just
smiles
shows
with that
you
performance.
Sometimes I like to look back on the form and look, and now you see, okay, Greg just told you he ran a bang-up race at 12 out of 13, but 2 back loses to Bobby's Wicked one, and sometimes you just got to draw a line through that, and boom, a bang-up race today.
And now 4 lifetime wins, and 3 of them with Brian Hernandez.
Yeah,
Jr.
right. Yeah.
Maiden special weight, the finale coming up at Churchill Downs, and it's 5.5 furlongs. Maiden special weight main track, and Steve Asmus and Ricardo Santana Jr. team up with a 12. Holiday time, speed outside. Can the daughter of Lemon Drop Kid break through, get her first career win? Nightcap from Churchill coming up next.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearling manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So first we have a colt out of Rapid Repair. He's a really nice colt. Very happy with how he's come along as a yearling. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
This successful son of A.P. Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast. This year, Flatter is adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record at stud. In the auction ring, Flatter topped the 2018 Fasig-Tipton July sale with a $520,000 yearling. And this year, his juveniles have sold up to $375,000. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Whether you have Derby dreams or Midsummer Derby dreams, this is Tom Durkin to tell you a registered New York bred can take you there.
Diversify!
That New York bred Exact and the Whitney by multimillionaires Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits shows the kind of quality that allowed New York breds to earn more than $93 million on the world stage last year. On-track successes have spurred New York bred sales result. At the March OBS sale, Chestertown sold for $2 million. And this New York bred 2018 yearling brought $1 million at Saratoga. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
Back on America's Day at the Races here on Fox Sports 2. Greg Wolf, Paul LoDuca, Chad Summers with you. We're live at Churchill, 7 minutes away from the 8th race coming up. Let's go to Frank Lyons in Louisville.
Hey guys, here with Brian Lynch, trainer of the 11-horse double axle, taking a lot of money now from 12 to 1 down to 7 to 9 to 2, 4 to 1 right now.
Yeah, I think the race fell apart a little bit, Frank, when it came off the grass. She's always worked well on the dirt, so we thought we'd roll the dice and give her a chance.
Yeah, she's daughter of Orb, cost $160,000 at Keeneland September yearling sale. So what was the thoughts about putting her on the grass? You say she always works well on the dirt.
Yeah, she came from George Weaver originally. George always felt that she'd be better on the turf, so we went with that. But with it coming off the turf today, I said, after a professional eyes watched her last couple of works, let's try her on the dirt.
Okay, so the best of luck, Brian, and I'll see you in the clubhouse bar afterwards.
You got it.
Okay, thank you, guys.
That's a bet you can book. Right there.
That's 100%.
Here comes our post parade. Yeah. Live it up. 21 to 1. Blinkers on.
Adds blinkers. Tried to show speed. Expect to be sent from the rail.
Amrata, the 2, we'll see next. Blinkers are coming off. For Peter Miller coming out from Southern California. Amrata.
Yeah, this horse could be dangerous because speed in the rail. If Miguel can get this horse to the rail the way it's been playing and shows the speed with the blinkers off, could be tough.
Speed to victory, moving to the Tom Amoss barn.
Half sister to Gettysburg, well bet in debut at 5 to 2. Tired first time out, could improve here.
4 and 5, both scratched. Here is the 6, Freudian finish for Brendan Walsh.
Yeah, and a horse I think that's getting bet because they think maybe the horse to catch. We'll see.
And Bullet Gate Drill coming in, but has gone long the last couple of starts. Here's the 8, Palace Princess.
Yeah, Palace Princess, 2 starts, a 9th and a 6th by 34 lengths combined.
10 horse, Aspen's Little Zip at 15 to 1.
Speed on the turf course last time out and just got beat at 60 cents on the dollar. Before that was 68 to 1 at Keeneland.
Here's the Brian Lynch filly. We'll see next the daughter of Kentucky Derby winner Orb, double axle, Julian Leperoux.
This horse was breezing really fast on the farm on the comeback. 46 and change at Margot Farm. You don't see that a lot. That's where the Hills get all their horses ready in the winter.
And coming off a Bullet Gate Drill at Keeneland, best of 21 in the morning. Here is the 12 Holiday Time, Steve Asmussen, Ricardo Santana Jr.
Obviously, this is a horse that you'd like to be more on the inside of the racetrack, but draws in with the 3 scratches to 9, but it's going to have to cross over and try to get over to that golden rail. Looks well, though.
And not quite as bad with the 4 scratches in here.
Yeah. There's four, yeah, so it's the 8 hole. Gonna have to clear, like, if you look, the 10's got a little bit of pace, 7 does, and the way this racetrack is going, I mean, excuse me, 11 has a little bit of pace supposedly in the morning, the 10 does, the 2 will with blinkers off, the 3 showed speed, and the 6, and I would think that most of these riders have been watching these races now are all gonna be gunning now. No?
I mean, they're supposed to, right? But I mean, for now, it'll be the Belterra shipper, right? On the Augustin Gomez is going to have the first try to stay on the rail.
All right, we're 4 minutes away from the start of this one. I want to continue to look at the big day we have on the Belmont Stakes Festival coming up. Another great race. We're going to look forward to it. 1.25 miles on the turf on Belmont Day is the Grade 1 Manhattan and Bricks and Mortar, making his comeback, and he is undefeated so far since returning in 2019, a perfect 3 for 3.
You know, we have a work here of Bricks and Mortar and Raging Bull. Raging Bull a little disappointing, and Bricks and Mortar just does what he always does. He wins.
Raging Bull needs firm turf, and he hasn't gotten that. He didn't get it at Keeneland. He didn't get it last time at Churchill. If the track is firm on Belmont Day, that helps him. I don't know Raging Bull wants to go this far. That is Joel Rosario on him on the outside. Bricks and Mortar is going to do what he always does. He's going to make sure he wins the breeze like he wins every race. Just by a little bit, but at the wire, you'll see Bricks and Mortar in front at the wire.
It's never by a large margin, is it? But he always seems to get the job done.
He's almost like a race car driver. He's almost like his own jockey. He knows where the line is. He knows that, look, he's never going to let that horse go by him on the outside. It's just not happening. It's just the way he is. And you're right. I think he's even surprised Chad a little bit to the point where, wow, he just keeps winning and winning and winning in all different styles. 5 wide, 6 wide. It doesn't matter. He's just going to come get you.
Chad Brown, his trainer, of course, and to win off the layoff, the Pegasus turf was just an outstanding effort.
At some point, they need to change this race to the Chad Brown Invitational instead of the Manhattan, right? At some point, that'll happen. But he has 2 other horses in this race, Olympico and Robert Bruce, both coming out of the Fort Marcy. Olympico was the outsider that day, 18 to 1. I saw him schooling in the gate this morning. He looks fantastic. He's really moved forward since that first race in the country. Might Olympico be the one, pull the upset? He'll be the longest shot of the 4 Chad Browns.
You give him a shot against this group.
I'll tell you what, I didn't until I saw him this morning. He looked really, really good this morning.
I think you play against Channel Maker. His win in the Man of War was just timed perfectly. He had a rabbit in front of him. It was a perfect ride. I just don't see it happening again.
No, I think Chad Brown wins. It's just which Chad Brown wins.
Robert Bruce, too. I mean, a tremendous runner.
Yes.
So that's going to be fun, but it's going to be, it looks like very hard to beat that trainer. Unfortunately, we can't bet trainers at the windows. If we could, we'd make a lot of money on Chad Brown.
That's true. That's true.
Back at Churchill, just a minute to post here from this
That's
finale
actually a good
coming
prop
up.
Bet.
Yeah, right?
If you have 5 horses in, you could come to the racetrack and go, is Chad Brown going to win 2.5 races, under or over?
You could just offer it on your own.
Yeah, right? That's actually not a bad
Well, they
little
used to have it on the Derby, right? Pletcher, Baffert, everybody else.
Yeah, that is true. They do it in baseball. Like if runs scored for the day, that'd be good for how many wins. Like you could do stuff like that.
How about this 6? How does this
Oh,
one look
looks
warming
good.
up?
Well, here's the thing.
Neck.
Like open up is the favorite because I think that everybody's thinking, okay, probably got the best dirt form. And if you look down, the first start here was 90 cents on the dollar on the dirt. So obviously she's a flashy workhorse. And she showed speed after getting left. And when you look at the racetrack, they're thinking, okay, she's fast enough if she breaks good to get to the front end here.
Palace Princess, the horse here, this is an interesting horse at 23-1. She doesn't like the kickback. The first 2 times she ran, it's better than it looks on the form. She's fighting the kickback with the 8 post here, which kind of scratches down. She ends up in like the 4 path. If she can work out a clear trip, that'll be to her benefit.
Well, Frank Lyons gave us a horse he thought looked best going into the gate race 7. He wound up winning at 6-1. Let's see if he can do it again here in the nightcap.
I can't do 2 in a row, Greg. I'm very sorry. But I will give you a little snippet of what I think about this field. Holiday Time is your favorite at 9-5, now 3-2 on the outside for trainer Steve Asmussen, who's having a terrific meet as usual. This one ran her best race, went second on the grass down at the fairgrounds. Then ran at Oaklawn Park last time out. Behind a horse of David Fawkes called Flatter My Heart, has not come back, but then Coexistence, the filly that she ran second to, came back to win at Keeneland. But I like, Lynchy, he's not the one that's betting on this filly, but his opinion is, that she's a nice filly, hasn't had her that long, that she's a very strong filly, she's worked great. They wanted to run her on the grass, but the grass, unfortunately, didn't come up today. But Brian was like, this filly trains as good on the dirt. So I think that the 11 is the best-looking filly in the race. And then also the 6 looks good. We have a few scratches in here, which is taking this race apart a little bit because there are a few of the favourites. Freudian Finish, she looks well. She's a daughter of Hainesfield out of a Distorted Humour, cost $35,000. She went off at 4-5 first time out at Churchill Downs and disappointed. She has a bullet work for this. So, I give her a chance. Then the 3, Speed to Victory. Hate to say it, but Tom Amos's filly, I don't think she's grown. I think she's overbet a little bit here. So I'm going to go with the 11.
I do think Frank Lyons can go back-to-back here and close out the card
right?
for us. We'll see. This first-time starter, intriguing with those sharp drills coming in.
Yeah, and if this is 11 wins, I think Brian Lynch will be buying.
At the bar afterwards.
At the bar afterwards, yeah. And listen, that drill 47 breezing out of the gate, Brian Lynch is playing a little possum there. I'm telling you right now, the 11 can run.
That being said, his last 42 starts, just 1 win.
True.
For his first-time starters.
But first-time turf, 0 for 28, which is amazing considering you consider Brian
a
more of a turf trainer than a dirt trainer. But there she's right there. If she gets out of the gate, she might be a handful.
Or his best day was at Churchill Downs.
True.
Travis Stone, nightcap from Churchill.
And they're off. Double Axe on the far outside broke okay. Aspen's Little Zip is racing out after that lead, and so is Freudian Finish toward the inside, and that one's faster. Freudian Finish skirts away from the field to lead by 2. Aspen's Little Zip comes away running in second. Palace Princess on the move from 3rd. Speed to Victory down inside is 4th. Holiday Time wide of the track running along in 5th. Double Axel is back in 6th. Live It Up is 7th. Emrata's at the back in 8th as the field rounds to far turn. 22-2 the opening quarter. 3 furlongs to go. Freudian Finish flaunting her speed round the far turn, opening up to lead by 2. Palace Princess asks for more speed. Holiday Time is 4th off the turn and has to get going. Aspen's Little Zip is also there. Emrata made a big move on the far turn and it's closing in stoutly down the center of the track. Double Axel goes down to the rail. There's 1 furlong to go. Freudian Finish, 4-length lead. Double Axel moves up into 2nd, closing in fast, but time is running out. Freudian Finish still clear by 3. Double Axel runs out of racetrack. Freudian Finish rides the rail to victory. Double Axel up for 2nd. Aspen's Little Zip, Emrata, and Holiday Time.
Well, that first-timer does run big, but not good enough to get Freudian Finish, who got out to the front, used that speed, and kept on going.
I told you guys, about 100 yards out of the race is over. As soon as the 6 cleared this field, it's over. The 11, the first-time starter, ran a bang-up race, and Le Peru did a great job going to the rail because he knew the rail's live. Meanwhile, the 2 made a big sweeping move. Look for that horse next time because the middle of the racetrack is just not happening. Race was over.
But again, smart ride by Corey Lannery, knowing how the rail is playing. He's hustling out of the gate here. He's got 3 horses to clear, and he does it. Everyone's going for the lead inside of him, and Corey's the one that pushes hard enough to clear by a length and get over to the rail.
George Weaver saying to Brian Lynch, the 11 might be better on the turf, and she's been training well on the dirt.
Wow.
She finished nicely. I would look for her
Another
next
one
time.
to
Yeah.
keep your eyes on.
Yes. Yeah, it was a clean start. The 11 broke a little bit slow, but the 2 was the one. I'll tell you what, the 2 and the 11 were the 2 ones that broke the slowest, and the 2 made a giant move with the blinkers off. I would think.
Yeah, got cut off.
Yeah, Peter Miller's going to leave the blinkers off, and it was just not. Listen, the racetrack's not playing to the move that the 2 made. Look for her next time, and she's a tap-it, so I would think maybe a little bit longer too.
Freudian finish, 5-2. Brandon Walsh, Corey Lannery, and Wayne Sanders, Larry Hirsch own this filly by Haynesfield. Good sprinter back in the day.
Great sprinter, right? Brendan Walsh having a slowish meet, but he's so good. That's going to pick up here pretty soon.
And he's a guy that's just going to continue to get owners, getting horses for Godolphin for the very first time, some 2-year-old for them. Look for him to have a big summer at Saratoga as well.
It's always a good thing to be out in front when you're turning for home.
Listen, we've watched 4 races since we've been on set, and this has been the same movie each time. The other times, horses were getting passed on the inside, and the horses on the inside were coming back. This horse was just much the best winner, and you're looking at the horse to finish second as a nice little filly as well. Look, the 6 is in hand. The 11 makes it look a little better, but the 6 is winning easily with Corey aboard. But the filly, the 11, double axel, when she gets on the turf, and then she might even run it again a little bit longer, she's going to be a handful because they were about 8 or 9 lengths clear.
By the way, third place finisher in here, the 10, 33-1 to help your trifecta just a little bit. Aspen's little zip hitting the board.
And then the 2 rounded it out at a nice little price of, well, 5-1. And your super high 5 includes the 12. So 6, 11, 10, 2, 12. Yeah, your 10 does spice it up at 33-1, huh?
Off a second place finish. No respect for the Botero shipper.
I know, right? And had speed. And that's what you need to look for, right?
Multiple wins today for Corey Lannery. Brandon Walsh team up to close out the card at Churchill Downs with a victory in this 8th race. Again, their feature coming up this weekend to Aristides, which we touched on briefly. Going to see some very good sprinters in that group. And we're back to action here tomorrow. For those watching on Fox Sports 2, we have an abbreviated version of our show tomorrow. We're on from 5 to 5:30 Eastern Time tomorrow. As we have our official prices in now from this finale. $7.80 for the win with Freudian finish.
Oh, there it is. I was looking on the app, and we just got it up too as well if you're on the NYRA app. But yeah, congratulations, Freudian's finish. Haynesfield had a storm at Utermare. Pick 3, 407. Pick 5 paid okay, and so did the pick 4 if you got to it. Some pretty good prices there throughout the sequences.
All right, so Churchill Downs in the books for this Twilight Thursday card. Again, we're going to be back tomorrow right here at Belmont, and 5 to 5:30 on Fox Sports 2. We will see you then. 5 Eastern Time is when we kick things off. Chad, good to see you again. Good having you up here.
Thank you very much. Being back next Thursday.
Dapper in yellow, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, that you did look very sharp today.
Appreciate it. The gray one didn't fit today.
All right, well, we're going to have a good show coming up for you all weekend long. Stick with us here on Fox Sports 2 as we make our way to next week, of course, the big one, June the 8th, third and final leg of the Triple Crown, and which should be a tremendous day of racing for the Belmont Stakes. We're going to talk all about those big races coming up all next week long. It was SAFTA getting the job done back in race number 7. Impressive performance for Dermot Magner. Jose Ortiz on board for that winning ride. And in the 8th, Show Prince for Gary Siaka with Eric Consell picking up the 2nd victory of his career. And Greg Foley. Frank Lyons giving us this one. Transatlantic Kiss with the victory in the 7th from Churchill. We'll see you on Friday, everybody. Take care.